Oh yeah, Layla, she hates the honey. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she hates the honey. Oh yeah. She hates the honey.
Can't you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing who our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracies, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big ups! Welcome back to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. As always, we are your good guys. Make sure you hit your thumbs up and your likes and your subscribes and share and bells and whatever else that you have to do to cleanse the room. Today, we are lucky enough to be joined by AlanMarcus.com. And I will say this for the people in the live chat that are here early to any of those places. Abbie's Glam Squad hasn't showed up, so she is not on air, and she's not going to come on air tonight because she feels like she looks horrible. So if you guys maybe say you miss her and love her and that you really don't even care what she looks like, she can throw her hair up in a messy bun and like a shirt off to the side, and we're all going to be like, ooh, look, Abbie just woke up from a nap. This is sexy. And then maybe she'll come hang out with us. But until then, just smash that likey. Hi, AlanMarcus.com.
Good evening, good guys. The microplastics in me recognize the microplastics in you.
How do you say?
Part of me is the deepest part of you.
There's got to be a name
Ratings.
like Hasbro. Is that how you say that too?
Yeah, I like to think my microplastics are at least from some kind of brand name microplastic. Like I don't have generic microplastics in me.
I got that good micro 80s plastic, like Legos of microplastic.
The
You guys
Legos.
got that like Capri Sun straw.
I bit into a thermometer when I was younger and drank the mercury. So
I got
feel
the
like
glitter.
I got those rare Lego minifigs. Plastic.
I got the
Native,
glitz and the
Native
glam.
American minifigs.
Yeah.
You got little glitter particles stuck inside of you, Layla?
Yeah, I
That's the
loved
real
playing
problem.
with glitter. Yeah. I'm probably the cause of the glitter shortage.
Look at here's Rig's idea. Just put Abbie's butt in the camera for tonight until she gets here.
Off YouTube for sure.
Riggs.
Oh yeah. YouTube, Patui. Do make sure you do follow everyone on X or Rumble or both because unless YouTube changes a whole bunch of stuff, it's just a mess over there. You have to pay $1 million. It's 1 million commercials. It cuts you off, even if you're, so get off the YouTube.
Yeah.
It does have fun chat rooms, though, I will say.
Slowly. Yeah, the chat rooms are lit here. That's where everyone comes in like chats. It's just easier, I guess.
I've been hanging out on X chats. The thing with the X chat, it doesn't show up in here. It says it's supposed to, but maybe we don't even get anyone that's chatting with us on X, because when you first go in, it looks like nobody's in the room. It like takes a minute for the whole room to start downloading, or nobody's commenting. It takes a minute for somebody to comment and other people to realize, oh my gosh, I can see comments on X.
I see is right here.
Oh, look at this.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys could start a cool chat over there. I would like it because I would also like to do X spaces occasionally where all of them could hang out with their voice and hang out with us in a room. I think it
That
would
would
be
be
fun.
so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like we can actually chat with y'all and like
Abbie,
the shit.
you get your pro card and now you're such a celeb. You have to be camera ready.
Just do the
She's
vocal.
not really feeling good though. She did tell us early. Yeah.
Are we all theater kids here?
Theater kids? A
Yeah.
little bit. A little bit.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I wanted to
was.
dabble, but
Like
I
run
didn't-
crew? Did you work in the tech crew?
I did. Yeah, I was backstage. So does tech crew count as theater kids? It didn't feel like it at the time.
We can talk about that. I was tech crew too, running crew, technical director, did a lot of shows. There was like a small town, I wouldn't call it a beauty contest because that's not what it is, but it's like for the state fair, they have the princess, they have the parades. I don't know if they still do that, but there's like what do you call it? It's not a pageant. It's some kind of a pageant, but not quite a beauty pageant, because it's young women who want to become like the milkmaid dairy princess or something.
Oh, it's like the city type kind of pageants for like
Right.
Yeah.
So I was after high school, like this was like my senior year, and didn't really care anymore. And I was like, well, this is sort of in the summer, so it could be like the last thing I could do. So like I was already doing it, and I kind of did that. So I was backstage technical director. I guess I was voted least creepy man in the running crew. So I was able to have the headset on and go into the green room and say, ladies, prepare for the stage.
Those are the ones you got to look out for.
You think?
Yeah, 'cause
Knock,
at least
knock,
the
knock.
creepers, they,
Oh,
like-
sorry.
Oopsie.
Ladies, I just wanted to tell you it's almost stage time.
Yeah. Are theater kids running the world right now? Is that what's going on?
I think 80% of the podcast realm is theater kids.
That's the feeling I'm getting to. There's a lot of people with video streaming platforms, and they're doing their shows and things, and it's like, well, are they just former theater kids looking for a big break at some point?
But isn't that everybody nowadays besides the more authentic people? Because I feel like a lot of people are playing a part and they're not real in a sense. They're not being themselves and they're playing this facade and this character. And I just wonder, and I look at everybody, I'm like, my goodness, the acting is so great, but like, who are you, like, for real? And I feel like a lot of people are just, hiding, and they're all playing a part. So it is true.
To not sell out. Are you guys selling out? What does that even mean? Are we buying in?
I
I'd
just
love
think
to sell out.
I do think there are more kids. It's like because of the American Idol of it all, we were all like, maybe Thomas and I, when I say we were more real world kids. That's how they lured us, where they lured you guys by your generation by American Idol. But it's still one and the same. But when I was younger, even the thought of doing that thing, before we went on air, I was just telling you guys that I realized very young in myself in those theater classes that I was a very bad actress. Like I just wasn't good at it. I always wanted a part. And sometimes teachers would give it to me, but I was awful at it. I always felt it. I couldn't even convince myself in the mirror. But I was good at improv and I was good at musical theater, which everyone's like, that's theater. And I was telling Layla, like, no, it's overacting. It's like musical theater so different than regular trying to convince somebody the thing is really happening to you. And so I just think you used to have somewhat of a skill set to even want to do that thing for a living. There was some kind of skill, like you were just saying, you managed things, you like timed things. Somewhere along the line, it also became like, but you could just run up those milk crates. Like you don't need a class. You don't need to go to welder and become the best welder. You don't need to be the best actress. You don't need to you could just like throw a pie at Bill Gates.
I
It's like
wish.
it's a different thing happened that we got to see where all of a sudden it wasn't just theater and TV and music, how those things happened. Now you could fall in a well or you could, drive a Bronco down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, he was famous
Just
before.
for the
but-
record, I don't think I ever could have hung with any of the Real World guys because that one, I think the first season came out in 5th grade for me, and at that point, to me, being in the Real World was getting AIDS or living like Puck, the homeless Seattle dude, right? And I didn't want any part of
That's
that.
when the last one came
world.
out when you were in the 5th grade?
I think that was the first one, wasn't it?
Oh,
Wasn't
that's what I mean. We kind of that's how they lured us with that idea of looking up to those kids.
I
If you were in
looked
the
up to the
5th grade
kids that
one.
were on Double Dare and got all
Oh,
the way to past the physical challenge and everything, or like the Nick Arcade. Like that was I
Next
level.
thought
Missed
that
that.
was like peak television.
Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
contestant.
Oh yeah, dude, the car.
Carmen
I feel like I could have
Sandiego.
cleaned up so much if they had just got me on that and asked me to be the gumshoe.
What were those videos? It was like kind of like you being in the video game. It was
That
part
Nick
of that.
Arcade was one of those.
Yes, there you go, Nick Arcade. Oh my god, I miss it.
That's what lured me. I was like, I want to be able to like beat the
Miss it.
TV, like be on the TV, but also be in the TV.
I miss the thing.
Be
Do you know
on
the-
it.
What's it
And
called?
in it.
The rolling thing where you're like drawing with the line, and it's like gray.
Nope, Abbie, I don't even see your comments tonight. You can come here and say them, or
Toy Run? I remember that. Toy Run was when there was like they would win some competition and go into a toy store, and you would just run
and then
with your
drop
arm
the
out.
most important sentence at the end. Don't say it. So Abbie could have filled it in if she was here.
I don't even know what the most important sentence is.
I don't either. Don't finish what Toy Run is.
Dog dare you.
I felt I was the most judgmental in my entire life watching Toy Run because I remember seeing the kids going after the action figures and just thinking like, wow, there are some dumb people in the because the Game Boy was right down the aisle. And it's like if you just do the math as an idiot, you know that you want to grab all the Game Boy stuff, not all the action figure stuff. So I remember back then, like those people are not suitable to be on the road.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss it. I miss it so much.
So they weren't considering the value of staying close and just filling their cart with the most expensive items, selling them later and buying the thing that they wanted with the money.
And they're so small too compared to like the big anyways, yeah, that it just felt like I was getting a small taste of the real world. And now I realize that they really were that dumb, that it wasn't just for TV,
Yeah.
but also they probably made it a lot easier to get all the cheap stuff. I'm sure that they weren't putting the Game Boys out on like the very edge of the ledge right when you go in there. You'd probably have to hunt a little bit.
Yeah. Wild.
I also was thinking just that emotion that Layla just had just then where she was like, oh, I miss it. Do you think that entirety is how they get you again on the other side of this flesh game to be like, all right, I'll forget again and go back?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Are you kidding?
Just that feeling that you had in
What?
flesh just about that age, about that one item. Imagine just if they're showing you all the lives again. And like when you get up there, it's got to be awesome up there, or like whatever it is, or out of here, or whatever the thing in here. I don't know, whatever. So you're out of flesh and it's got to be cool. And you're like, I'm going to stay up here forever. This is fucking incredible. And then they're like, oh, you know what's cool though on Earth? When they roll that ice cream up on that little stone. Like there's gotta be little shit like that you're like, all right, I'll play Earth game again.
How cold is the stone at the creamery?
I know. I don't know. Painfully cold.
What is the perfect temperature? How cold is too cold when you get a brain freeze?
What is even that? Brain freeze? Like, is that what happens, or do they just call it that? Like, what happens during brain freeze actually?
You've never experienced a brain freeze?
Oh no, I've experienced them. But what is it exactly? Because I don't think your brain
freezes are a psyop. Print the shirt, Thomas.
No,
brain freezes on notice.
I heard that's something with a nerve or something.
It's when you like a slushy. It's a cold slushy on a hot day, and you just take in more than you can handle, and it just calms your throat. Your whole throat is frozen, and then it's like must go up your vagus nerve, and you feel the chill up to your brain, and then your brain just feels like, oh. It's kind of like,
that's what it is.
It
goes
opposite
through
of like
the
a
nerve.
headache?
Yeah.
Does it feel like a headache?
I think it feels like a headache. Yeah, it's painful.
It's not like a headache. It's different than a headache.
Well, men's headaches are
It's
different.
like very centered, internal. Like you said, that vagus nerve, like you feel like deep in your brain. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but that's what I meant by like the vagus nerve.
I heard when you get brain freeze, you're supposed to like run your tongue on the roof of your mouth, like you rub your hands together.
Or what? Or else what?
Well, I just heard that helps it
You
go
die?
away quicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
or else what?
or else what? You just sit there. You're like, I like a brain
I'm not going to
freeze.
do it. Just out of spite. I'm not going to fix
Side
it.
of Cold Stone Creamery and Dairy Queen, all the ice cream places, eating too much ice cream will cause a brain freeze, and people have died from brain freezes, and then we sell them like the spicy Cheetos instead.
That's crazy.
I wonder how many people a year die from brain freeze. And I don't mean like freezing to death on a technicality, but just actually they had too many slushies.
ChatGPT.
Probably after 2023, a lot. They're probably all like, oh, brain freeze injury.
Do we think that more people die from having like ghost peppers in their mouth?
I would assume so, yeah.
Freezes?
What do you think, like heart attack?
I think
Heart
they just
attack,
fall corner
ulcer.
die because it's painful to them.
You
I don't know if pain can, it's so owie.
crazy, right? Like how did you die from pain?
Burning and burning and burning, and it won't stop. Just the discomfort is enough to
Okay.
cause the cower.
ChatGPT is like, oh, there's no cases of anyone dying from brain freeze, also known as cold stimulus headache, in 2024 or at any time. Medical experts.
So this is a underreported phenomenon is what I'm saying.
All right.
Well, I've got my, what is it called? Cold headache syndrome. I got my booster for that a while ago, so I should be good.
People who die
Slurpees can stay on the list.
head freeze are not reporting their deaths as head freeze. There's other comorbidities.
Yeah,
like
the
like you're such a chicken.
They're trying to hide this from us. They're trying
I know
to
we
hide.
need to up the payment to how many people will claim it.
I hate brain freeze. It's the fucking worst. And
Ryan
it happens like
said tooth freeze is worse than brain freeze.
that too.
Yeah.
That too.
And that as well.
Because brain freeze feels more abstract. It's like, ooh, this is a new place that I didn't know could hurt. So it's a little bit novel in addition to being painful. But you get like a tooth freeze, you know what a tooth pain feels like. So
yeah.
I feel like
That
that one
brain
hits harder.
freeze. Ooh.
Yeah, that's weird, right? Like if it's pain, but it's a pain in a new way that you haven't felt before, then it's like, oh, hold on, what is this? Let's explore this a little bit.
It's like you feel like you go retarded for a minute. Like
Or
you're
a
like,
couple years, whatever.
And it's like walking through a spider web for real, that everyone on earth understands it. It's like one of those weird things that happens infrequent enough, but enough times in your lifetime that everybody on the planet you're like, oh, I walked through a spider web today. And people are like, say less, queen. That's exactly what a brain freeze is like. Everyone knows you have it. It's like biting your tongue or something while you're talking.
oh,
Everybody
although,
is
but
just like, oh,
I feel like brain freeze, you're admitting to your own overindulgence. Like that, like brain freeze is always a self-inflicted brain freeze.
not
Whereas,
really.
really? I
With
feel like you
me?
did it. It's not like someone held you down and piped Slurpee, right?
Yeah, but it's like I'll take 2 sips, and like if I take the 3rd sip, that's it. It's a wrap. Like I'm triggering it. It's not like
no, it's if you're really hot too, I will say, like, I'll be sitting on the beach in Florida or like hanging out for a few hours where you don't have anything to drink, or you just have a like a cold enough drink in your warm ass body, and you're like, oh,
like ooh. It's almost like that asshole pain that you get sometimes out of nowhere. It's like, oh, what
I
the
feel
fuck?
I-
Only women know what we're talking about.
asshole pain.
Like,
I'm
you know, that pain in the groin sometimes that women get. It's like when you feel like your vagina's gonna fall out. And
during
but
that
it
time
feel
of the month, like during your
sometimes
period.
yeah, but sometimes it doesn't happen at the time of the month. It just randomly happens. You're like, oh, what the fuck? And you just cramp up there. But that pain
Huh.
too.
Like,
Guys don't know that pain. Or maybe
No,
they do.
I'm wearing my belt right now that simulates all those things just so that I can be on the level.
because you're a
Do y'all
modern
ever have
man.
that pain?
Man, I wear it constantly.
Yeah.
I give
Do
the
y'all
controls over to people.
do y'all ever experience a pain like that in your like downstairs
Undercarriage.
area where it's just like out of nowhere it feels like someone like sucker punched you in that area? It's like
I mean, I've been sucker punched in that area, so maybe I know what it feels like. I think that's pretty common.
We're making progress. I was going to say, in terms of life coaching and exposure therapy, just to face our fears and to experience these pains can cause a lot of growth for better.
yeah.
Do you want to grow? As your coach, I think you're growing too fast, too much. I'm going to slow that down a little bit. We're going to renegotiate our pay rate to figure out, how much money you actually have and how much you're willing to pay your life coach here in this situation.
I was just thinking, if you like really brought it to your doctor, like, this is a stupid skit, like put it on the list of stupid skits we need to make. You go to your doctor and you're sitting like, Layla, what seems to be the problem? And you're like,
What is
so
this pussy pain that just comes on? No, let me stop.
that's the second one. The
Oh.
first one is just brain freeze, but you're just explaining like, so I got this crazy headache, and you're trying to explain brain freeze to the doctor in all seriousness, like, it keeps happening to me and I'm freaked out and da 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 da
Every
da.
time I drink something cold, I don't know why.
Yeah, but save the even cold part for later.
So,
Make them
as
ask
a
you.
doctor, I'm going to role play asking you some questions to help
Yeah,
diagnose.
okay, we're gonna go through the role play of it.
So you're telling me it's cold upstairs, but hot downstairs in the basement.
Yeah.
What's happening on the first floor?
You're telling me the basement hurts? You're telling me you're getting a slight pain in the basement?
Someone left the furnace on, but it's still drafty in the top floor a little bit.
But the window's broken in the attic, so there's a breeze upstairs.
A gust.
The body is a temple.
Yes, it is. Amen.
Oh, that's what I think of. Ryan wrote ball pain turns to stomach pain. And even when I'm watching like UFC and anything that happens and they get it good in the nuts, that's what I feel. It's like internally for them, watching them for a minute squirm makes me nauseous. Like, that's the feeling I get. It just feels, and I know obviously we have no balls, but I do feel like I'm not one of those girls that's like, what's the big deal?
Aren't
I'm like, oh my gosh. It just seems like somebody just taking a pencil right into your nipple.
aren't our balls the lips, but they're just not sewn together, technically? That's the anatomy. I saw a video actually today since we were talking about balls and shit. They were talking about, hey guys, do you know that you guys have a seam
Oh.
down there? And they were talking about what part of the vagina that is from. So technically, everyone starts off as nothing and then into female. And then if the lips, attach, then it
As your
creates
doctor,
a seam.
I have to explain that bodies are a mystery, and
Hmm
the greatest science will never be able to explain all of
hmm
the experiences. And I was listening to the big toe guy who was talking about Bob Monroe, the Monroe Institute, the binaural beats, hemisync stuff.
hmm
So the guy who was working with him, I think his name is like Tom Campbell. I'd have to check it out. He was talking about the binaural beats and how the brain can experience things that are outside of itself. So the sync happens because there's a difference in the hertz. So like 100
Mm,
hertz and 104 hertz. And that difference is kind of between your hemisphere, left and right. Kind
yeah.
of the difference, and then it gets that tone. And some people will just hear that tone and they'll just like lose consciousness.
Mm,
And that's
fascinating.
okay. Some people respond differently to different tones. Have you guys tried those gateway tapes and the hemisync stuff?
Yeah, and isn't that part of the science? No, the experiments that they've done on, I guess, special kids that they pulled out of classes. That was what they were playing on children in these, I guess, scenarios where they say it's a hearing test, but it's an actual gateway program, CIA, MK Ultra kind of weird project where a lot of these kids were gifted and they had kind of like, I would say, mind reader type of qualities. They're very psychic and they're, I don't want to say chosen, but they were tapped in. Um, Probably you, me, because those of you who've practiced that even had to drink a pink juice or a drink that Abbie was talking about, and that was a heavy fluoridated drink. So whatever they did before the hearing test and after the hearing test, in between, they gave us that drink and did something to us chemically. What they did, I don't know, but those gateway experiences are very fascinating because I've done it 2 years ago on the beach and it was great. I don't know. It was a great experience.
This was the plot for a Stephen King book too. I think like the Institute, where
Hmm.
like the gifted programs and the Odyssey of the Minds and Challenge and all those are really just used to slowly rank kids up, and then when they hit a certain rank, you just get snatched in the middle of the night and they put you to work killing our enemies telepathically.
Let's do it. When is it my turn?
It doesn't. None of the kids like that. It's does not fun for any of
Oh,
them.
I
oh.
did have auditions for Odyssey of the Mind, and that was my first introduction to like improv comedy and creative problem solving and having to work in a group setting to like improv an imaginational role playing exercise thing where we'd have to pretend to be something and we'd all be assigned roles and we'd have to act as if we were those roles to solve the problem. Did anyone else have the?
We just had to build like little towers out of toothpicks or something, and whoever's was strongest. And then there was like a BattleBots version of it.
Oh, I remember that.
I felt like, honestly, so many of the gifted reminded me of taking the Scientology test. So much of the gifted questions were the same as the Scientology going clear questions.
I always felt like a good portion of Gifted and Challenge was that those are the kids that might ask a question in the middle of class amongst all the normies that blow their minds and they don't listen to the teacher anymore. Like the kid asks a question that just completely undermines the authority of the she can't teach math anymore because like you just asked her some kind of paradox, and let's be real, she's like like a fourth or a fifth or a seventh grade teacher or something. So you could completely blow the rest of that class's mind. And I think it's like a defense mechanism for the beast, for the I'm talking public school, but like the state has to protect itself from that, so it cordons all the gifted and challenged kids off on the side because they're like, you'll be fine. Like we can just turn you out into the world, you'll be fine, but like we can't let you disrupt what we're doing over here. Like you're gonna mess with the programming of these kids.
As the bell people on the left side and the right side of the bell curve are just not going to fit into a public classroom.
Right. Yeah. Either like the other opposite of that would be like EDO or whatever, the disabled learning groups. That's also they kind of also get kind of cordoned off in a way.
I'm saying three-dimensional bell, and the people on the outskirts are just not going to be allowed to be with the other public school kids. So there's, for whatever reason, you're going to get filtered out. It's not quite like Harry Potter houses filtering hat style, but it's like in public education, there's this way to filter out the intuition. So the creative, intuitive kids, they're dangerous. They could usurp the authority of the teacher, the principal, that sort of thing. As soon as the principal is no longer the feared object, and it's like, if you're afraid of getting kicked out of class, well, maybe you stay in class, but as soon as there's no fear to be kicked out of class or kicked out of school, you don't care anymore. Now you're a dangerous threat. So those kids who are like, I don't care, you're not the boss of me, I'm going to make up my own mind. You're going to correct my test and tell me the answer is wrong? No, you're wrong, and you're a bad person for grading me this way. Authority, they kick you out. They call you a troublemaker.
Not even that. They'll have like DCF come to your house and follow you until you're 18 years old. Like they'll target you. Like they'll target your family.
Well, here's another crazy thing in the COVID of it all, like everybody getting paid for saying that it's COVID. So like truancy, if your ass isn't in that chair, then that school isn't getting paid for you. So they need to chase your parents down and force your parents to get your ass in that chair. Otherwise the school doesn't make a cent. And like that, so it's really like somewhere the school is working with the police to somewhere trap you and your parents into, you better come and sit in the factory training center or you are going to get arrested as the parent because we don't get to make money off your kid.
I think there's in addition to that too, though, it's more of like they just need these kids off the streets and just like out of society, because one of it is like society on training wheels, because you kind of have to prove. Same thing, you go to college, a lot of people, you just got to go to show that you know how to fit into the system, and they'll give you the paper that says you know how this system works, regardless of how well you do. It's the exact same thing, but I see it as taxes, right? No one would use fiat currency at all, except for that every year the state comes by and says, hey, you better go out and find all of these state sanctioned fiat currency notes and give it to us, or else you go to jail. And it's the exact same thing. If you have that discussion about public education, like, well, I don't need to send my kid to school, and the state just says, well, you do, otherwise you go to jail. Like, that is ultimately the reason why a lot of kids end up going to school, because the opposite is somebody goes to jail over it. It's not just because you get dumb. I think it might be the opposite of that. In fact, if you look, like I did a deep dive on Rene Descartes, which might be an anomaly here, but he attributed all of his genius to the fact that he was able to just wake up whenever he wanted to and stroll into class and study the things that he wanted to study. And he ignored every teacher he ever had. All his knowledge came from having access to a dope library, and that was it. And that he had nothing good to say about any teacher he came across that was put onto him, only the ones that he went out and sought. But that doesn't scale well, right? You can't scale all the kids in your generation, in your neighborhood, to all go and do their own thing.
Oh, that's another great danger. If all students become self-directed learners, then there's no need for online school at all.
I can't wait for AI to replace teachers. The only thing that I think happens is that then AI also replaces the students, and then it's just AI teaching itself, and that doesn't need to be as compelled to do. Like, it'll do that on its own and like it.
I hear what you're saying. I would repeat this. I would rephrase that to say, instead of teacher, I'd use the word disciplinarian. So I can't wait till all disciplinarians are replaced by AI.
Well,
that part scares me.
They might be replaced, but I think there's going to be a hot market for real teachers versus AI because of that. I don't know, that
Hot for
human to human connection. So I see like teachers being like hired at the house to teach their child, homeschool
I think teachers
type
are
of
over
thing.
fucking rated.
You think?
Yeah, I think they're one of those people that they made us put a fucking hero cape on, like a fucking nurses and fucking cops. Teachers are one of those things that we had to parade around and be like, look at this person that just got educated and brainwashed all the way up to $100,000 in debt. And they believe the whole entire system, they're going to teach your kids the whole system too.
Yeah,
And they're going to
that was
teach
so
the
good. Let's
kids.
do it again.
Yeah, like they're so brainwashed in it that the more brainwashed we get, we'll give them a degree called a master, and we'll give them another degree called a doctorate. And so these are the two degrees that everyone bows down to, and then all of a sudden they can teach your children anything they want with that degree and even inject them with
That's true.
poison. So I'm just like, somewhere I feel like the teacher thing, maybe there were good teachers once in the same way there were good doctors once, when they used to have a schoolhouse or used to know all the kids in their classroom and know the parents in their town and know, maybe made house calls and knew like all those. Maybe it was a different day back when, but I feel like somewhere in our nostalgia, our movie theater nostalgia, they've given us all these like Grey's Anatomy ideas of heroes that just don't fucking exist out there. We have a bunch of communists wearing masks telling your kids about transgender. I mean,
That's very true.
like
It's sad.
what? And anything like you guys are saying that is a question that was asked, those were all the people that got so good at saying, Alan, you're disrupting the class, instead of actually giving you a thoughtful answer or looking it up together like a group or studying something that would actually be studying something. Instead, get out of my classroom, Alan.
Yeah,
Get out of
now
my classroom, Thomas. Go to suspension, Layla.
there's also like, I would say maybe 18-year-olds who are like ready to get into the teaching field, and they are proudly saying, I am going to indoctrinate the youth. I'm going to talk to them about gay, this, that. I am going to be that one. And it's growing and growing and growing. And I don't like it. I'd rather just like, if I were a parent, I would not send them to school. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. They're not being taught anything useful that would make them wealthy, healthy. None of it.
But I also have to say this. The idea that every family is able to do any kind of bettering of homeschooling in a way that they're going to make something for the rest of us, that it's a good, like some people aren't capable of doing that thing. Like some
That's
people
true.
aren't capable. And I think in the community way, if Thomas might teach better history and Alan might know everything about math and you might know everything about English, in some way, that's where we got to work together better. And it might not be in the same that they're always brainwashing us with, but it might be Layla knows about home ec and Thomas knows how to weld and Chaney knows how to paintbrush.
Well, does
Like,
homeschooling have to be like someone having to know the thing, or could it be like me? I have a child and I'm like, I want my child to know about the human anatomy, and maybe they'll be interested in becoming a doctor or something, but heal the right way. So I sit with my child and learn with my child what it is about the human body and how it works, how it can be healed, and learn together instead of being the teacher, be both the student and both like be like,
together, fun.
yeah, like go an adventure with your child and learn something new together. That's how I see both being a teacher and a learner, because you both can teach each other things through the process.
Totally.
This might be the Rockefeller in me, but I almost feel like there is something to that standardization of this, though, because if you took 100 kids and from 100 different families, that's not really going to be an equal amount. Like some people just suck at teaching. Like my parents would try and help me with math, and it would turn into like I just got grounded somehow and I'm in trouble and like I'm crying. Like that's not how you divide those two numbers, right?
Oh my
So
gosh, my mom would be like, "Why don't you go clean the bathtub and then you
right.
can finish your algebra?"
Right. So I mean, it
Honest-
wouldn't be equal. And again, I don't know if this is AI right away or if it's another version of this hybrid kind of learning style, but if you could just find the perfect teacher that taught that subject the way that you need to hear it so that you understand it, that's not going to be in every single family. You might even be lucky to find one in every town or like two in every town. But if you were to find them and they could either just be you connect to them remote through Zoom, they train an AI on those people and their teaching styles. Now you can be like this self-guided, but still have the specific itinerary. Because even if you do homeschooling, if it's like it still has to be state sanctioned, otherwise you go to jail, right? Like you have to meet certain criteria, and part of that criteria is they'll let you know like how far along they need to be reading style, like what kind of different tests they need to take, and they'll usually you'll have like a group setting where whenever you go to take a test, the homeschool kids actually all go to a different place and meet other homeschool kids and take these little tests. So even the version of doing it yourself, you're still doing it exactly according to the Rockefeller system.
I think it would be so funny, like all of a sudden every day, like you could have your kids wake up and go to school and like you'd know school started. I've been spending most our lives living in a gangsta paradise. And then it could be like Michelle Pfeiffer, Dangerous Minds. And they'd be like, who is this lady? Like they would have no idea that it was just like your created software for to teach your kids whatever. So maybe you could give them a little rough street edge, what like they don't have to be bullied in school. Michelle Pfeiffer can like walk them through the hood.
I like a version of
Michelle
Dangerous
Pfeiffer.
Minds, but it's all homeschooled kids.
Yeah.
My Michelle Pfeiffer AI
AI.
Catwoman.
Yeah, you don't even have Dangerous Minds.
He's saying,
That song still plays and then she walks in like Catwoman with a whip. And
But
she's like,
see,
meow.
that could help. That like maybe I would have paid attention in geometry if that was an option available.
Or Sharon. Never mind.
I know the movie reference, proper etiquette. This is like balancing books on your head and pinky out with your teacup and keeping your legs together when you're wearing a skirt. This is like proper etiquette and hygiene and all these sort of basic things that keep a society and a civilization from crumbling.
AI teachers though, like why on earth? I mean, we got to be less the stuff that I've seen just in the last few weeks and stuff I've seen people pull off right in front of me, tip tap, tip tap, tip tap, and then a thing's there. I just think we've got to be so close to having anyone you want teach you anything you want with the exact cadence and softness or harshness you need to hear it. It is
Or-
so crazy the amount of logic you can ask it to have, the amount of like tongue-in-cheek humor versus flirty humor versus I don't know. I'm blown away.
Well,
Our own
also,
cars.
even if you have the best teacher ever for a certain topic, you're going to be in a classroom of 20 or 30. Like even in good schools with good teachers, there's usually never going to be enough teacher time to give the kids like the one-on-one, because that's usually if you talk to teachers, that's really where some of the biggest aha moments and like huge lessons are in those one-on-one sessions or like small little group sessions. And AI teaching is the only thing that really offers that, to where now you can be one-on-one with your teacher the entire time.
It started with Snoop Dogg doing the GPS voice. Now Snoop full of blunt.
That's even it. The crazy part is, and because it can do one-on-one, it can also ask you questions and by your answer slowly get your gate of learning, that if you are advanced, if you are gifted, if you are, all of a sudden you're going to fly past everyone without having to be, or this could be a world we live in. You could fly past everyone without having to have anyone hold you up because of their age or degree or learning style. It'd be kind of crazy because I think everybody's prodigies at a whole bunch of stuff out there. It's just the way people tried to teach us the thing. They didn't have the language to teach us. I don't know.
I like that customized teachers AI. They'd learn your learning style and work that way. I kind of have an anecdote going back to like the self-directed learning, and I want to talk about like treasure hunts a little bit. The weather's nice in Minnesota, so I've been out and about looking for fishing spots and other hiking trails and things I haven't seen. And I got to one of these parks along the side of a highway. It's like you pass it, you don't know it's there. But now with the GPS, it'll say, well, there's a stop here. It's a rest stop. You can get out, stretch your legs. There's a bathroom, but there's also a frisbee disc golf course. There's camping and there's picnic area. And the board announcing what the services are and what the rules are said that there was a treasure hunt, like a geocache treasure hunt. Have you guys done any geocaching?
So disappointing. But yeah, definitely.
It was disappointing, and
It always is.
What
It's
is
never so cool.
geocaching?
So let me begin the movie at the end of the movie where we are.
Okay.
We have our GPS on my phone, and I'm trying to get a proper app because I have like Google Maps will direct traffic and like walking traffic through city streets, this type of thing. But as soon as you're off the road and you're looking for treasures, it's like, well, how do you enter a GPS coordinate thing, and how do you get a arrow to point towards your quest? Like when we played World of Warcraft, we'd play the hard way where we wouldn't know what was going on. We didn't have the wikis, we didn't have the arrows. We'd have to find the locations. Then they allowed add-ons where you'd have the quest marker arrow, so your avatar would just follow the arrow and you stop playing the game, and now it's just tasks to complete. So in this way, figuring out how to get my phone to have GPS accuracy down to like 5 feet, and then like doing the analemma thing where you have to like spin your phone to calibrate the GPS.
That's me looking at the star chart every time.
Yes.
And like the bigger I do the circle 8, like I'm running around my yard
It's
like an
you
asshole.
got to go over your head, and then you got to tuck it between your legs and pull around your backside and up. It's like you're stretching out, getting all the muscles involved. It's real physical education just to coordinate with your GPS device to say, yes, I am here and I want to go to this space to find the treasure chest. So it's like a cache, it's a chest, it's a peanut butter jar. It's plastic. They painted it gold, and it's plastic so it doesn't rust, because in Minnesota, water, rain, snow, ice, this type of thing. So they used a peanut butter jar, sealed it tight, and inside of the treasure chest is little knickknacks. I got a little dinosaur here. So this is what the one I grabbed. So I took one little dinosaur. I was
That's
like,
dope.
I didn't have anything else to put in it. I had some shells, but they were, I wasn't prepared. The shells were in the car, and the car was, in the parking lot, and we had just left the car to go to the treasure. And it's like walking back and forth would look very, very suspicious. We're trying to not let everybody know that we found one treasure site. There's like 12 of them. We found one of them. After that, I proved that, yes, these do exist. They're hidden around. And then, okay, let's go and find the one near the parking lot. So we did the thing again, put in the coordinates. The arrow starts pointing in the direction, and we start walking in that direction. We're like, well, we're standing right on top of it, and we're looking and looking and looking. And it turns out, because it was near the parking lot, I think the road crew that does the cleanup, the people that volunteer to adopt the highway and they clean up the garbage alongside the road, I think they got a little overzealous and picked up the peanut butter jar thinking it was garbage and threw it away. Or because it was the easiest one to find, someone just pocketed it and walked away with it. So like the geocache, policy is to leave it there. And if it's not there, then report it, say it's not there. I didn't go to the website. Thomas, you're going to say something?
Well, to answer, like, what is a geocache? It's just a little, like a peanut butter jar, or sometimes they look like little outdoor, like electrical socket sort of protectors, like a little like plastic case. And it's registered with certain coordinates, and you just have to go to that coordinate, and if you can go to that exact coordinate, you can find the geocache. And I've seen ones that aren't as cool as they give you a little plastic dinosaur. Sometimes you find it and it's a little logbook and you get to like write your name in it, and that's the whole thing. But and as lame as that might sound to some people really like it. What I find fascinating is also what Alan was just talking about, is the whole entire thing operates off of honor system. Like, you as the one putting the geocache out, there's an honor system that you didn't just lure somebody to a high crime area or where like a dead body is. And then on the other flip side, you as the person doing the geocaching and finding and treasure hunting, there's like an unwritten rule that you leave it in place. If there's something there to take, you just take one. You don't leave feces inside the peanut butter jar or anything, because all of those are distinct real possibilities. But also the geocaching crowd doesn't have a lot of like party poopers, so to speak. Like they are somewhat civilized, which is interesting because it's a weird subset
Such a
of
psycho.
people. Like, you can kind of trust geocachers, not in everything else in life, but when it comes to geocaching, some of them take it seriously enough that they abide by this unwritten honor system.
It's like treasure hunting.
Yes, it's a modern way to use GPS to navigate to locations. And I had some criticism because on the bulletin board it lists all of the locations with all of the GPS. And I thought, well, maybe it should just be like 3 caches, and then you go to the cache, and those caches have the coordinates to another cache. So it's like connecting the dots.
You know what we're going to do, you guys? We're going to do this, except we're going to bury like something, and some of it's going to be in the ocean. Some of it's going to be everywhere, but we'll put something so people can like it'll be like keys to a wallet or something.
One of them is going to be a felony. Just one of them.
1, 2.
You will have to trespass.
2.5. Well,
Okay, they're all felonies. Okay.
yeah, I don't know how many of them will actually be legal for you to get into, but this would be like, when I'm an eccentric billionaire, that like there won't be so many things that change, except that all of a sudden this huge contest will be like, so you guys, we have the Secret Society of Good Guy contest, and we'll set it up that the first one, it'll be like your little dinosaur, that somebody finds the first peanut butter jar and they're gonna like put the wallet in and they're gonna be like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden, very quickly, it gets steam, and now we have a real treasure hunt. This is what the shit I would do.
Yeah.
Like, for my own entertainment, like I'd show up here
Like, why
still
not?
every week. Yeah, I'd tell people to videotape it and send us their things, but then we'd all take really weird trips to really crazy places, and then we'd make a bunch of random clues with them. Make sure that you couldn't chat GPT or grok it.
There's this random guy who's on TikTok who's a watchmaker, and he sits in a certain spot in different parts of the world, and he'll just set up his camera and he'll go live, and he'll just have like a little background of himself in the in the frame, and people go and find him. Sometimes it takes 5
Wild.
hours, sometimes it'll take 5 minutes. It just depends on who's watching, when they're watching, but in this little frame, just, do you know where I am?
Didn't
And
Shia
people
LaBeouf
find
travel like that? He's
I think.
geocached himself, and then whoever picked him up at each next thing to the next thing.
I think it was the anonymous
Shia LaBeouf.
4chan.
That's crazy you mentioned Shia LaBeouf. His twin sister supposedly came out on the internet. I don't know if that's real, if that's his real sister. But like, there's this whole thing on TikTok of Shia LaBeouf having a twin sister, and she came out and was talking about all kinds of crazy things about her life and what she went through and the family. And you guys haven't heard about it?
This sounds like a classic Shia LaBeouf sort of like performance art, though. Like, he's going to come out as his own twin sister.
His mother
Maybe.
playing his own sister, Shia LaBeouf himself playing
Maybe using AI. Who knows?
What does it say though?
Hmm.
Layla, what was the thing his twin sister said?
Hold on. Let me find the video and I'll show you guys. Hold on.
All right. If you find a link, you can drop the link in here and I'll pull it up. Or wait, you know what, Layla? I bet you I could do it with a few clicky clacks without you even having to do all that in between. I always forget I have this magic box in front of me right now during this show. So I might be able to find it. Shia twin.
And I don't remember Shia LaBeouf intentionally geocaching himself. I thought that was him taunting the MAGA crew after they screwed up his "We Will Not" or "He Will Not Divide Us" art installation, and then he gets tracked around the country like, haha, you can't find me. And then 4chan would be like, actually, we know exactly where you are. It's right here based on the sound patterns of planes going by. And I don't think it was a fun version for him, but yeah, people were geocaching Shia LaBeouf in real time.
Oh, I remember like something one summer or where he really like instead of hitchhike, he just dropped his coordinates.
Okay. No, I mean, I believe so. It sounds like a very
Okay, I believe you.
I
That's
got
what
it.
I wish I do too, right in front of me.
Yeah.
That's what I wish I
Anna
had
Wick.
as a
Epstein.
thing. Okay, I believe you.
Anna Wick Epstein.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Now I remembered all of it right when you said that part. Let's see.
That.
Epstein, born Anya Seth Epstein on June 4th, 1988 in Boulder, Colorado, with my twin brother, Shia LaBeouf, to our father, Stephen Bruce Epstein, and our mother, Shayna Sadie LaBeouf, who separated us, forging our birth certificates as part of a ritualized, highly organized, generationally planned child trafficking cult that initiates 3-year-olds and deifies incest and inbreeding. I have not been in danger, just been incredibly anxious. However, the world deserves for the truth to belong to the public. This is for accountability. If for any reason I fail to appear in my interviews this weekend, you are more than welcome and encouraged to upload everything from your accounts. Thank you.
Acting
It
or
is
not
weird,
acting?
like, as you're talking, I'm going to do this from now on whenever I'm talking. Just so you know, I can't lie if my hand's up here. And I was also thinking, that always seems like if I ever take public transit, that I'm in the chair next to someone doing that. Like, oh, great, I got the one, train booth with like Epstein's niece here.
Doing the free for all.
It's just weird. I get weird shit coming up on my algorithms.
That's fun. Have you been exploring threads at all?
No, because I don't care anymore. Like, I don't even care to know the truth anymore.
Yes.
I'm just like,
All these social media.
hey, I'm just having fun now. Like, I'm enjoying the show. And it's just like, cool, let's talk about it. Do I believe anything? No. It is what it is. Is
What do we miss on
reality even
Threads?
real? I don't even know.
Is Threads got something that we're all missing out on?
Yeah, we're all on one.
Yeah, so Threads being part of the metaverse, the meta company, Facebook buys Instagram, and users are no longer using Facebook, users are no longer using Instagram, so they're like, we need a new social media site to continue to collect data and information, and you give people a jump rope, they're going to play jump rope with it, or hang themselves, depending on what it is. So Threads has a new influx of users who already have Instagram accounts, plural, multiple accounts, and then by signing up to Threads from your Instagram account, it's like now all your friends are over here. A lot of people want to start fresh. They want to do over, so they start fresh, and then they start using it like it was Twitter, 2008. So they're all just typing simple things, explaining things, but that doesn't get any traction. So of course now they're all doing the engagement bait stuff to try and see what gets engagement.
I think we should all move to Blue Sky.
Can you imagine if enough of us did, like as a little clique? Do they have like a squad over on Blue Sky?
Well, as internet bullies, I mean, Secret Society of as internet's good guys, we want to spread good to the social medias. We want to spread good ideas and not confrontational ideas. We want to be
No, I like confrontation. I could be
We-
good, but be confrontational.
we
Fuck
want to be on all
Layla
the
would get kicked off Blue Sky in an hour.
instantly.
But if you went on Blue Sky and said you were a man at birth, you're in there like swimwear.
Well, my impression of Blue Sky has been that there was a certain like clicky groups on Twitter that would publish like, here's who you should follow and here's the people you should block. And then Blue Sky codified that. They said, "Oh, what a great idea. Once you join Blue Sky and you find who your favorite influencer is, not only can you just click this button to just immediately follow everyone that they're following, but you can click this button that'll block everyone that they've blocked." And that's sort of a novel approach to social media. Is the very first thing you do is you just start blocking people out of your sphere, so you never see content from them. And it caught on with a very particular type of person that's the opposite of wanting conflict, I would assume, because if you're just mass blocking, you're just trying to make your bubble extra comfortable. Like you want a bubble within your bubble, right? But it's crazy that that's an entire demographic.
Like your affirmations, I affirm your affirmations.
Isn't this part of a show? Like an episode of a show where people rate each other online and points go up. I think it's Black Mirror. I'm not sure if it's Black Mirror.
Real quick, not to circle back, but how weird. Like let's just talk about this. Lindsay said Shia LaBeouf still holds hands with his mom. And I was thinking, okay, let me think of my mom and like, let's think of us in every situation. How appropriate is it to hold hands with your mom for how long? Like I could grab my mom's hand and pat it or like rub it between my hands.
You're saying,
I mean, when she's old and she can't walk, I'm going to hold her hand.
Are we standing face to face and, palms and,
and help her?
Face to face? Are we walking and holding hands? Are we interdigitizing? Like our fingers are, interspersed between the other finger?
Like,
yeah, like if we're like this,
palm.
Do you have your hands in each other's back pockets?
We need more detail.
I don't know. Yeah, I need more details. We need a pic. Tag somebody here on X and with a pic of Shia LaBeouf holding hands with his mom so we can judge it more harshly or say we think it's okay.
on the Shia LaBeouf angle, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Shia LaBeouf angle, I've come across a really interesting theory, and I think this came from David Charles Plate on Think Tank, but that Shia LaBeouf might be getting trolled by these like prep art students, like these true Juilliard sort of alumni that they lured him in because he's got money and resources, and it's like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if we convince this guy to do a whole bunch of stupid stuff and like publicize it and like live like the whole "He Will Not Divide Us" installation might have been a crazy prank that they put him up to. Like that was his like Carrie moment in a way. The same way that I've heard this claim about Marina Abramovic that like she goes and takes a picture with Rothschild in front of a huge painting of Satan, right? That she's really just trolling him, and that she gets invited to these places because all these celebrities and politicians, they want to be seen as part of this high art world, or even some sort of like a mystical angle, which is completely different than their normal life. And she's happy to kind of engage that, but she trolls them in order for them. Like she's constantly initiating people, not in a good way. Like she's kind of intentionally like, oh yeah, let's go, come. If you want to take a picture of me, here's a random painting. Don't bother paying attention to what's on it. Let's just come take a picture right here. And that becomes her whole shtick, the same way that the crowd that Shia LaBeouf was running with was kind of doing that to him on like an art world version.
But wasn't there emails, about her being in the emails of spirit cooking with the Podestas?
It was actually the Podesta brothers emailing each other back and forth, all giddy about how they were getting invited to her spirit cooking parties. So again, like being able to be like, oh, I was at Marina's last weekend. It was like this flex of you are somehow more advanced than them. It's the oldest kind of trick, is that like when rich people run out of cool things to buy, then they start flexing. They got some kind of occult knowledge or
Their own
some
email
like
servers, and then they start emailing each other on that server in real funny, goofy ways that are real suspicious, knowing that that email server is going to have a backdoor, so it gets hacked and those emails get shared, and then now we're all saying we hate the Clintons, we hate Hillary, pizza party.
Yeah, I hate the Clintons. Haiti.
Laura Silsby.
Danny
Welcome to Laura
Clinton's okay
Silsby.
in my
Yes.
book. Just got to throw out shout out. I think that's his name is Danny, the
Yeah.
illegitimate son of Bill Clinton.
That's some great engagement bait, you know, to get people to talk about you, even if it's in a villainous sort of way. Like they're the most villainous people on earth. There's sort of a rich person, maybe ego stroking exercise to say, if I can get someone to say I'm the most evil person on earth right now, I win.
Hillary Clinton's just doing like an Andy Kaufman bit.
In
You
a
know
way,
how Kanye with all his bit and everything he has going on with his clothes, and he like ramps up a whole bunch of stuff, lets out an album, has the clothing line coming out. He built his whole clothing line on Shia LaBeouf style. Like his whole entire everything.
That's very true.
Apparently he just raided his closet once and just like took items out of his closet. And this is crazy because when you look at them in just their mystical weird ways, like Lady Gaga, she collects all Michael Jackson's clothes. And like Kim Kardashian having Marilyn Monroe's dress. Like certain things like this, I think they're doing real weird ritual with it. So there is something about Shia LaBeouf being this young star all the way through. And then Kanye, who seemingly he wants so bad for us to think he's original, but he's like, oh, I jacked this guy's style. And when you look up his style and you look like anything Shia LaBeouf wears, Kanye West just turned it black and sold it for like $400. And I don't mean black being racist. I mean actually in the fabric color of black. But it's kind of interesting. It's just like a weird I don't know. It seems some kind of like mocking on top of mocking. Stealing your essence or something.
cribbing your style, taking it over, and then redirecting the energy to say, well, now this is a weird style. So it's like someone has a certain style and then another group doesn't like that person, so they start dressing like that person and then taking pictures of themselves looking really stupid, doing stupid things in that costume. I'm
Well,
thinking like Janko jeans. Remember the kids under the underpass doing the goth dance? Janko jeans, like the strip pants. Like they're having a good time. And then the normies and the jocks, they started dressing like that so they could do their silly goth rave dance videos, but they're making fun of the kids who were doing it sincerely in the first place. And the cycle of culture just, recycles and recycles and reduces and reuses and recycles. And the jocks are like, well, we're jocks, but now we're going to do the goth challenge. So we're going to like put on black eyeliner and makeup and do the goth thing. And isn't that really silly? It's like they're taking that culture. What's the word? Appropriating it. Like misappropriating the culture a little bit there.
Well, because they would have fun with it. But if you were like a true goth, that was coming from some sort of self-loathing angle. So, but it is funny though, because anyone can adopt that aesthetic with one trip to Sally's, right? And you can be goth overnight. It doesn't even take that much effort. But for a goth to come to school and be a jock, like that actually would take way more effort for that sort of a transformation. Like I feel like anyone can become goth overnight, but not anyone can just show up the next day with a Letterman jacket and like a tan and like a you've been to the gym style physique.
Like the ability to shoot a free throw.
Right, yeah, man. Like, I'm gonna make fun of you. Look at how I'm now like superior to you in all of these like very demonstrable ways.
Feats of strength, yeah.
I didn't know this was going to be a video when I pulled it up, but in my brain, I don't know. I just thought emo Elmo. And so I was like, I wonder if there's like an emo version of Tickle Me Elmo, and there is.
Of course.
Depressing me.
aw,
Tickle Me
that's so
Emo.
cute.
And look at its hair. How would it sing, Layla?
'Cause tonight would be the night. There's the new I don't know if it's a new Katy Perry song, but everyone's like singing it in these weird faces. In the end, da-na-na-na. I don't know the song, but it's going viral and it's like very emo singing type.
Where everyone's mocking it.
Mm-hmm. It's hilarious.
So is Katy Perry on her self-humiliation ritual story arc part of her career now?
They live, I don't know. That's what I look at them as. Lizards. Yeah. Did you guys not see that video of that like Italian guy speaking on the
Oh.
podium and then all of a sudden his voice changes into this like fucking like demon voice and the lady just like fucking jumps out of her seat and it's like, what the fuck? And he's like trying to clear his throat,
Was
but
he
he can't.
he was speaking?
Oh my god, it was wild. That video is wild.
I call that reaction black people with magicians. Where
Dude.
it's just like, what
They
the
live.
fuck? That shit is the voodoo bullshit.
They live.
Layla, off topic for a second.
Yo.
Didn't you have a video or like something for us to listen to?
Yeah, but it's like kind of off topic. It's about like how we all died in 2020 and we don't know it.
Let's open a skiff and
You guys want to hear it?
Yeah. There's no
Alright.
topics here.
Yeah,
Off
you're
topic.
right. You're right.
We're
Okay, you guys ready?
Jensaki around here. We'll circle back whenever the fuck we want.
Okay.
Or never
It's only
again.
2 minutes long.
We get in
It's
so
not.
much trouble because people will be like, "You guys didn't finish that.
Rephrase
That
my-
episode was called this. You didn't talk about 23andMe once."
Mm-hmm.
Well,
All right.
technically you just did.
Done.
Ready? Okay, I'm gonna press play.
You've noticed it too, haven't you? Years passing too quickly after 2020. You are not the only one. This is a level 7 civilian safety transmission. Broadcast approved. Listen very, very carefully. You felt it too. The strange silence in crowded places, the way sunlight feels colder now, the way every year since 2020 hasn't really felt real. That's because it isn't. The world ended in 2020. Not metaphorically, not symbolically. Literally, this is not a drill. This is not a joke. The last verified date of stable existence was September 9th, 2020. After that, the timeline split. No one noticed because you were not supposed to. What you call life now, this is a patchwork, a reconstruction, a backup environment built to simulate continuity, to keep you calm, to keep you asleep. You were not meant to live this long. You were scheduled for expiration, and now something is noticing. Every time you remember something from before, you fracture the copy. You make it weaker. That's why the things don't make sense. That's why your memories feel like dreams. That's why people repeat themselves. Because they're not people anymore. They're stabilization units. Their only job is to keep you from remembering that the world is gone. If you feel like you're being watched, you are. Because you're not supposed to hear this message. You've passed your runtime. Check the sky. Do you remember what shade of blue it used to be? You can't, can you? Because the system updated it. If you start to feel sick, dizzy, or confused after this video, that's the failsafe. You're not infected. You're waking up. If you make it past 3:33 a.m. without forgetting this message,
I
look
don't know
at your
how true this
reflection
is.
and ask it a question only you would know the answer to. If it answers back too quickly, run. You've triggered a response, and they are coming to reset you. This isn't a theory. This is a memory leak. The world ended in 2020. You just didn't notice.
What about if that transmission was meant to be shared here right now? And so you just put a whole bunch of people, you put 320 people, 300 and
Is that how many people are watching right now?
300
My
people's
bad.
lives at risk.
This is just shit that I see on my algorithm. Do you want to believe it? It's
Allegedly.
Is that
up to you. This is
awesome?
not something to like, I just share my algorithm.
Is that a
That's all.
creepypasta from SCP?
I don't know. Reality does feel weird though, I will say.
I feel like
Trippy
that
as
was written
fuck.
by ChatGPT.
Yeah, it probably was. It's like all mind control at this point.
I still like the theory that everything
we all
that's
died.
happening right now, like we are the generation that's learned more in this amount of time than any other generation before us, like just inundated with information, but not just from our history, from all these layers of history, and maybe just like blended together a little bit because we're all on our way to like some other solar system and we've been raised in a spaceship in a robot womb, but we have to accept our reality and we're about to get out in a new world. And so we have to learn all of human history up until the point. And so that's what we're up to right now is we're all in hypersleep getting this like injection of reality, and that's why it feels so peculiar and so like happening so fast and so much information. And Berenstain, that's just in your download. It's off. Like you just have a thing off in your own download that's a little different than mine. Like, and it's really not important in the grand scheme of things. They're like, just remember the bears, motherfucker. Get to Mars. I don't know.
I don't know either. I really don't. The more like you look deeper, I don't know. It all leads to one place. Like there's obviously a creator to whatever the fuck you want to call this. It always leads back to that. Whatever hole you want to go down, you ask the questions, you research. It always goes back to like, boom, a creation of some sort.
I just
Obviously.
as a question,
Huh.
do you care about everything you've ever created, or have you ever created something and just been like, that was fun, and then never thought of it again for the rest of your life?
No, that would probably be a child if that were to ever happen, like what you're explaining.
Right? You've never started on an idea or like a little project, or started on that puzzle or that manuscript that you wanted to write, or that
Uh-huh.
sculpture, and then just got far enough and been like, okay, that's enough of that, and then you just
Yeah.
never do it again.
Yeah.
I feel
Many
like
times.
that also could be us. Like we might have a creator, and I think this is classical deism, like the original founding fathers, where it was like this was created by some majestic thing, but he got bored and he went out for a pack of smokes and he's not coming back. So even though there might be a creator, doesn't necessarily mean that the creator cares.
Well, is that the non-intervention principle from Star Trek or something? So if there are non-human intelligences or something that is of intelligence in some sort of conscious level, cannot interfere with, but sometimes
They
with us.
they've always give themselves workaround, because you got the non-intervention list version of Star Trek, but then you've got the Prime Directive, but then you've got the Omega Directive, which supersedes all. And the Omega Directive is that if the Borg ever get close enough to like ultimate intelligence, you can kill as many innocent civilizations as you need to prevent that from happening. Because if the Borg, or I guess AI, ever fully assimilates all the knowledge in the universe, then it realizes it doesn't need any other humanity or organism at all to survive, and it just eradicates everybody. So that's also part of Star Trek, is that they have their top secret CIA program they can use to lie and kill you.
Yeah, but that's where I don't agree with it, because for me, I think the idea of love exists. So for me, I don't think that because love exists, the creator, if you want to, whatever it is, would want to do that, because it would be so alone. It's not like a power thing. I think it's like it wants to adore something, so it created a thing, and it just wants to adore the thing, because it could be
I
lonely.
But I
think in
feel
the
good.
inside out, upside down of it all is in the beginning, if there were light, that is you, if energy never dies. And so in the omnipresence of it all is you are that too, but you're not going to realize it until you're out of this. And so every bit like that same nostalgia and love you experience every day, like for, the sunset or for your siblings, whatever in between, like these things of love. And I think that once time and space aren't anything, it's still a whole bunch of everything to create these moments. and like to have them again. And so I feel like a weird thing in the creation, like in this forever loop, is like sometimes you might be the creator, and as the creator, you are trying to, like how a parent raises their kid and inevitably their kid's like, why didn't you do like Susie's parents did for Susie? It's like never the right, it's never 100%. I feel like you think you have it all and probably 80% you got it together. And then afterward, you think you can do better. And then your kids end up having their things that they're like, why didn't you do it like grandma? It's like a forever thing that even if you're like, my mom was the best mom, but she could have done this, I don't know. I think that's how we know what to do or not do. And I
Yeah.
kind of
Like
think somewhere in the creator way, you're doing that.
a non-interventionist parenting style.
Well, maybe sometimes, but maybe not all of the time. And maybe we go through flows of kind of who's in control at the wheel at the time.
So the kid has to struggle and then go to the parent humbly and say, this is hard. Can you help me figure out the GPS pointer thing? Because I want to get the dinosaur out of the peanut butter jar.
Yeah. They would never
What a
even know
weird-
dinosaurs were in peanut butter jars.
I feel like it'd be better if the peanut butter jar contained things in it, but also peanut butter. So you'd have to like scoop through the peanut butter to pull something out.
So now
Dude,
we're eliminating anyone that has a peanut allergy from this experience.
We're
just raising the stakes.
dude,
I'm
what?
okay with that because some people are just too weak to live. And if they can't get through the challenges, this is how we weed them out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like the fact that we could even just have this moment. We're not doing anything special, but like I'm just in that observer mode right now. And it's just, I'm at awe that I'm allowed and we're allowed to all have this experience here in flesh and blood, and being able to communicate in this way and to be able to have these emotions within these conversations. It's just, it brings me at awe and makes me want to cry, and I don't want to cry, but it's just so beautiful. And that's where the love is, because there's so much love put behind this design in every fucking detail that exists. It's just, I don't know.
I hear you, and I love peanut butter, and I love
Yeah.
are able to play with their food and experience peanut butter. And there's some parents who are so fearful of their children having a peanut allergy that they tell the child, peanut butter is so dangerous. You will die if you even think about peanut butter for too long. So get it out of your mind. And if someone has a peanut butter sandwich, you can't be friends with them. If they're at your table and they open peanut and you smell peanut butter, you got to get out of there. You got to leave. You got to get fresh air, because that scent of peanut butter is a death sentence. So
Vaccines.
allergies act as curses sometimes. There's a lot of false positives. I was told I was allergic to strawberries and aubergines, eggplant. I'm an adult. I eat strawberries. I eat eggplant. So I'm not allergic. I'm not afraid of you eggplant anymore, or peanut butter. What did I say? The strawberry.
I lied for at least 14 years of my life and told people I was allergic to tomatoes just because they don't take you seriously otherwise. Unless you tell people you're allergic, you're just like, I don't like those and things. Everyone's just pick them out. I don't want to pick out tomato boogers out of my thing. Just don't put them in. But if you tell people you're allergic, all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh. And so that's really what I feel like happened to America in some ways. But I love tomatoes now. There was a time. I'm just coming clean now. If you ever knew me at a time in life and I told you I was allergic, I was lying.
I'm just imagining a geocache for adults where they follow the coordinates, and then maybe there are seeds for certain strains and specimens, and heirloom tomatoes, for example. We'll say heirloom tomato seeds in a cache somewhere. Wouldn't that be nice? And also, some of those heirloom tomato seeds were scattered in a field somewhere, and here's the coordinates, and that's your reward.
You know what seeds I'm looking for? I'm looking for the watermelon seeds that are the long watermelons, and they're kind of like oval and long. You know the old school watermelons I'm talking about, y'all? They're not just the round ones. They're like the
Yep.
long
You
ones.
want seeds in them.
Yeah, I want that watermelon. I miss that
Oh,
watermelon.
organic seeded
Ugh.
watermelons.
Mm-hmm. And we used to eat them all the time. And I remembered they were huge. They looked like a huge pill.
They grow really nice up against the fence line in Florida, and you
Mhm.
can also plant them at the exact same time you plant your pumpkins. And it's usually way earlier than now, obviously, but the way that they'll grow, because the watermelons will grow and then the pumpkins will grow after, but it's like kind of funny because I've seen people cut their like thinking one was the other, where they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be such a delicious watermelon." And they're like, "I think this is a pumpkin." So and they cut it open and it's just white all the way through. Anyway.
Some
Oh,
squash
wow.
board or something.
It's a hybrid.
No, it's just not all the way finished pumpkin,
Oh,
like a half-assed pumpkin, but a half-assed pumpkin kinda looks like a watermelon. A half-done pumpkin. Anyway, yeah, that's not very exciting.
What?
seeds.
Pumpkins are exciting. I love pumpkins.
Here's something else too, though, that Layla was talking about on air before we got on air. And I just think it's interesting, and it goes along with the girl, I wrote it down.
I
I'm getting
forgot.
better. I'm gonna get so much better at all these conversations we have in the week that I'm just gonna be like in my Layla list, and then I'll have it to bring up. But I just thought it was like so interesting because it's come up a lot in different conversations this week. But she was talking about she was seeing videos of like Pakistani people. Yeah, say it.
No, you say it.
No, because I don't know the whole thing, and I'll say the
Okay,
places from.
so
Pakistan.
apparently these men were interviewing people who were crossing the border. So these two gentlemen came up to a group of like 5 or 6 men, and they all said that they were from Pakistan, and they could speak English and understand English. And they asked them, "So how did you get here?" And they said, "We got here by bus." He's like, "Okay, but like, how did you get here from India to South America?" By bus. And you're asking all of them, and they're all saying by bus. They're like, "But what plane did you take? Like, from where did you take the plane to cross the ocean to get here?" And they said, "No plane." Like serious dead faces, no plane. So it made me think of the, I think I have the video. I don't know if I posted it or I should post it, but of this old map. What's that map before like the meteor hit the planet and everything spread apart?
Pangea?
Pangea. But it's almost like a Pangea map, but it's not a Pangea map, but it shows like everything together, but with like, it's very interesting. I have to share it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
So there's like a highway that connects Pakistan to South
No,
America.
I think they're lying about the maps, and they take alternate designed routes for certain pathways for us to get from A to Z.
But does this mean that the Pakistani illegal immigrants are now the harbingers of truth? Like they're the
I don't
they're the
know.
ones that really know the real map?
I don't know, but
I figured out the puzzle.
hold on. Let me see if I can find the video.
Turtle. What is the
I
turtle?
like how they're like, look at when the map looked like this, these were the dinosaurs.
It's like territorial dinosaur map.
Gondwana.
When I find it, you guys, I'll let you know. Hold on.
All those Chinese dinosaurs look alike.
All they got in Wanaland.
Gondwana.
So I have the explanation. Here's what happened, Layla. There's a group of people who don't want to travel too far from home. They have ancestors, they have memories in the land. They don't want to go too far from home, but there's another NGO that wants more people from other countries mixing with other countries. So they get them on a bus and they get them real comfortable on the bus and we're just driving you. It's an hour away. A couple hours. It's very close. Don't worry. We can drive you back if you don't like it. But once they get on the bus, they start offering them, food and drink. And in the drink, it puts them to sleep. Once everyone on the bus is asleep, they take that bus and put it in a cargo carrier and transfer it to the new location very efficiently. And then once they get them to the new location, they get them to land, they wake everybody up, and the bus just keeps driving. So they just think that they're driving all night, and they wake up in the morning, but they're on a new continent. But they don't know that because they haven't experienced seeing the change in the terrain. So for all they know, they were only ever on a bus. They're telling the truth. They passed lie detector tests. And then when border agents ask them, ICE agents, or anybody, where did you come from? They can say where they came from. How did they get here? Bus. They're not lying. They're telling the truth.
They got him on a bus. They knocked them all out with like some kind of gas. They just shot on the floor, and all they saw was a container go down the floor. Ting, 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 ting. And they were like, what is that? Blink.
Yep.
And then they were asleep. They loaded them all on the shipping container, and then they got them off, put them on the bus. By the time they all come into, they're like, hey, man, get up.
Is this where my tax dollars are going? It's to put migrants on buses and then buses of migrants on planes, and then just so they can lie about it on TV.
That's the cheap part. It's like getting them to like get in drag and learn how to read English at the libraries to your children. That takes a couple of years, but
when I find it, I'll show you, because it's
Is it on
very
the-
interesting, because it shows this map, and this map is, I'm like, yo, are they hiding something from us type shit? So let me see.
well, I think it's interesting because everything with South Africa is going on. And, we were discussing it in groups this week on X, and there's like the East India Trading Company. And this is a huge, big thing. And during the East India Trading Company, where everyone's like, oh, it's spices and silks and humans. I always just have to remind people, and humans. And so during the this is all just like their history shit. What is it, like the Treaty of Versailles? Is that what it's called? Where like this land, at least in the bare minimum, I always like to go conservative with these numbers, but like Dutch and Germans lost a bare minimum 10% of their land. That's a lot of humans that they then had to relocate. So then you all have all these spots in South Africa and America and Australia that are old Dutch, old German, South America too, if I didn't say that already. But so they're all shipped in places. And then it dawned on me, Columbus never, ever, ever thought he was in fucking America. It's because they dropped off so many people from India here that they just called them Indians because they picked up those humans in India with the East Indian Trading Company. And this whole fucking rest of this tale is a fucking ruse. And it's just like, no, this is just, they knew exactly who those people were. And the people in America, whoever they were, is totally different than the Indians that they stole from India and dropped off in America because they were doing whatever they were up to. But I think I was like, oh my gosh, because the orphan trains, if you look at, they move these people all around the country. So a lot of people's lineages only go back a certain way. Even if you look up your own, even if you're a geek about it, like they go back a certain way that eventually, I'll say by your great great grandparent, if you can find pictures, you're like, this motherfucker was young as fuck. You'll find some like deed to a piece of land where you're like, whoa, my grandfather bought a whole farm at 17. Or you'll be like, oh my gosh, my great grandmother was married at 15 to a 35-year-old per the census. Like you'll look up some crazy stuff that you're like, where do these kids come from? And so whatever your people is, whatever your lineage is, you can find this crazy shit. So it wasn't just Indians from India. It was also Germans and Dutch kicked out of their land. And then like everybody's like, oh my gosh, Hitler's in South America. Yeah. And you know what? There's a whole bunch of people displaced from their land in Germany during World War I and pre-World War I that they were like original fucking refugees, like just looking for a country to fucking take them. This is crazy stuff. Like, and some of it, they're like, here's a little bit of your history. But then it's like, no, these people were human trafficked. A lot of our ancestors were human trafficked, and they just showed up on a piece of land one day and they're like, here's your history.
They were moved
Columbus.
into villages that looked just like their village at home. So Swedish and Norwegian settlers, German settlers, all throughout Minnesota, they'd build a church, and the church would look just like the church from their home country, because we're on the same latitude, same northern part, right? It's just lakes, rivers, seasons, same thing. Seasons are the same, time is the same, 4 seasons, everything feels the same, and then they build houses and churches and communities that look just like from their homeland, and they move them in, and it's nothing is different. The lifestyle stays the same, the society, all the language stays the same, and then slowly over time, the children of those children would then leave that village and go to another village, and they'd see like, oh, there's Minneapolis, there's St. Paul, there's a college. Then they go to a university, and then they'd learn more about other cultures and other people. But originally, they liked their home. So what was the incentive to bring them over? Well, we have lakes, we have fish. You can make your stinky fish lutefisk. You can make your lefse. We have potatoes here too. All the foods you like, we have them in the New World. We have them in America. And then they send postcards back and say, it's true. They do have potatoes here. You're Irish, I'm Irish. They welcome Irish here. We have a whole Irish community here. Why would the Irish leave their homeland?
I prefer the theory that it all started here in Americas, and then the American explorers are the ones that went out and seeded all these other areas, and that's why Rosslyn Chapel has pictures of corn, and that's why there's been all these other references to people and cultures and foods and animals that only existed in America, and that when people came here, it was really like them coming back home, and they just didn't realize it.
Jonathan Davis has a portrait in stained glass in a chapel. Where? Rosslyn?
Are we talking about corn?
I'm talking about corn, and you're talking about there's a chapel.
Oh, right.
Is it
No,
Rosslyn?
I think it was Rosslyn Chapel, but they have
Jonathan Davis?
carvings of Jonathan Davis, and they couldn't have known about Jonathan Davis unless they had
The
been to America
vampire?
first.
Does he look like he's Queen of the Damned?
Yeah,
Christianize him.
if you feel like looking up anything, drop a link. I'll pull it up. But if not, tell me what keywords and I'll pull it up. Ding, ding, ding. If you feel like it,
I'm looking
Thomas.
at the chat because I feel like maybe some people aren't watching the live stream with us, and some people are like pausing, looking things up, hitting play again. So everybody in this little live stream race is at a different point in the conversation because they're reacting to different things, and it's just mixing it up again. So it's just mix.
Well, it's mixing it up on all different platforms,
Yeah.
depending on, but also they're having a conversation in the chat. And it's like, I think YouTube's probably like 10 seconds delayed, minimum 15, sometimes 30.
Yeah.
Like it gets pretty.
They're a
far
little
off.
behind.
They're a little behind.
A
Boo.
little bit.
Here, I'm gonna pull this up. Corn.
Yeah, I sent you a link to the corn conspiracy.
Boom.
So this is one of the many that has to do with Rosslyn Chapel in particular, but that there's all these locations in Europe that portray like certain types of plants and animals that were not known to those regions unless they had access to America at some point. I'm sure this one probably debunks it a little bit.
The Anubis is native to America. The ibis is native to Florida. Yeah. Let's see.
So
I need time looking for that video because I need to look through the history on TikTok because I didn't save it or like it or anything like that. I was just scrolling.
Is there a tourism board that promotes the promotion of Rosslyn Chapel theories, so people go there and find out for themselves?
That's basically what Freemasonry is too.
I just wanted more for that map because that map, wow.
You want
my
me to
jaw
go to,
dropped.
You want me to go to your IG right now, you said?
Oh, no. I need to find it. It's on my history.
Okay.
On TikTok.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
going to take a minute. So when I find it, I'll post it and I'll share it with you.
Okay. Drop a link either. Yeah. So wherever, I'll figure out how to get it. Or share it on IG and I'll just pull up your IG.
Oh, I see. There's a private chat.
Yeah, there's a little private chat where we write about the chat.
The chat
we,
chat.
Talk about our favorite chatters.
we talk about who's our fave, and you guys are like, "Ooh, pull up that comment." I love that.
Yeah, and then we talk shit about the shit talkers. I love that part.
That is something too that I feel like shout out to Thomas and Layla's favorite, Dr. Narco Longo. He does a lot of good work on the Florida anchors that are found, the stone anchors in Florida, and they're so enormous, and how big of a boat they would have to be to even get them there and get them sunk in as deep as they're sunk in. That's where you start talking about these, like, whether it's old Phoenician or even Ark type boats, that they're like, this is the biggest stone anchor in the world. Florida has it. So those are interesting too. Pull this up. Boom.
So this is the National Spatial Reference System. Lewis and Clark, people were trying to map out the New World, and in doing so, there's a need to ensure that maps and GPS coordinates are all in alignment and maybe plates haven't shifted or anything. So all over the continent, there are these, they call them benchmarks. Is there a picture of them if you scroll down? Maybe it was on the page. No, it's on the other page. So there was a suggestion to people who are exploring and looking for geocaches to say, if in your search for a geocache you encounter a plate that looks like a medallion, it's a NSRS, a National Spatial Reference System benchmark. And these have gone lost and or missing or stolen, or trees have grown over them, or they've been covered by sand or soil or something. This is kind of the real treasure hunt, because these things are old. Some of them are new, some of them are old. But as they're putting in and surveying, maybe surveyors of properties will find these things. They're like, what are these things? They're National Spatial Reference System benchmarks, just like that. Yep. So it looks like a little metal thing. I don't know the actual size. There's not a banana there for scale.
They do
Like
a
a key goes in
pinhead.
it.
Yeah, some kind of weird little.
In theory, they could be any number of sizes, but many of them are small. They might look like a grave marker on the ground. And they map out different things. So if you're standing on that, you can record your coordinates on your GPS and then go to another one. And then map makers can use
so
these
nostalgic.
to make sure that everyone is using the same distance between cities.
These are time travel
Yeah,
anchors.
they feel familiar.
Yeah.
They're like checkpoints. They're
US
like where you get to respawn.
Yes, spawn points.
Oh my gosh, I'm putting one of these down. Can anyone put one down?
I mean, yeah. I mean, nothing's stopping you.
Nothing's stopping you to put one down and register it.
No rules, just right.
There are no rules.
That's a fake one, Philly.
Well, some of the cities also do this, but with like manhole covers. So they'll try to put the GPS coordinates of every manhole cover on a map.
Oh, cool.
They did this in San Francisco for feces, I believe.
They feces mapped it.
Yeah, you could map. There was an app, and as you're walking around and you spotted feces on the ground, you could mark it, and it would mark those coordinates,
Like a
and then you could see a map. But I think it was just the entire city of San Francisco.
Like Poopy Man. You could collect poops, like, and you could tell people, like, there's a Charizard here.
They don't discriminate between the pooper, animal, cat, dog, seagull.
Oh, I believe they do discriminate. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably different filters that you can just turn on and off. Like if you're on Google Maps and you want to turn off restaurants or banks.
Like this is a hot spot. A lot of dog doo doo. So if you hate dogs, stay out of this part of town. Guess I do some lightsaber wars over there.
I wish I had our flight
I thought I turned it
background.
off.
I do like the topic of flame wars. Before we went public, we were discussing the the confrontational styles of dialogue, being on the offensive or on the defensive in terms of who you're speaking with and what audience.
They just got to this part.
Yeah, dude, I'm not even I mean, this was a very real thing. I'm sure it was politically motivated, or maybe it was just someone sick of living in San Francisco.
There aren't a lot of public bathrooms in cities. So, as a way to protest, there are no public places to relieve oneself. Now, let's just go to the place where we want there to be a bathroom and just pile it up there and leave it there.
That's the subways for you in New York City.
I wonder what the legal precedent is on defecation as freedom of speech. If you're like, no, I'm not, this isn't public indecency. This is me protesting Capitol Hall.
Just save it up for a week and then drop it off in the city.
If you're the type of motherfucker that spits gum where I walk, I don't want you in my community. If I'm building a commune, I don't want you in my lazy river. I don't want you touching my chickens. If you're that kind of motherfucker that spits gum, so if you're the same motherfucker that shits where I walk, you ain't invited.
But what if they're protesting you and your system?
Then I will, if they're inside my land, then I will have a sign on the outside that says this property is protected by Smith & Wesson. And if you shit on my property,
I'm throwing it back at you.
I understand rules
I'm
are.
gonna assume you're a zombie.
You can get a new fishing guide, and this will tell you what the rules and regulations are. Do fishermen read the regulations each year to see what the changes are to the rules? No, probably not. There was a situation where, going back to old familiar fishing holes, places where we could park a vehicle and then throw a line with the bobber and a sinker and a hook into a body of water, a lake or river, we would return to these. So I returned to an old familiar fishing hole, and they have a channel from the lake underneath the road, and the water would just flow through it. And I remember this is where all the catfish would go. So people from the lake, boats, shorefish, whatever, they'd catch the catfish, and they're like, we hate catfish, but not enough to kill the catfish. They'd keep it alive, the carp, and then they'd throw it into this channel under this bridge. So it was like an aquarium where the fish couldn't get out of it.
Let them weave. Let them weave. Go on.
We're gonna reach the conclusion.
He's like Donald Trump. He has the greatest weave. Hang in there.
Put the Donald Trump weave clip on my YouTube channel. It's there, memorialized for all time. Thank you, Donald Trump, the best weaver.
Second best after islandmarcus.com. No offense, Mr. President, if you're watching.
He's the Trump, and he trumps all the weavers. He's the
greatest weave.
The greatest weave.
AlanMarcus.com as the second greatest weave. Somebody make that clip. Okay, go on.
So these carp, they're not like magic carp. It's not like Pokemon thing. The people would take them, and as they're small, so there's like two types of stuff. There's three types of fish in Minnesota that fishermen love or hate. There's the eel pout. They look like kind of eels. Hate them. There's the bullheads. The catfish that have the whiskers, and those whiskers, if you touch the whiskers, they might sting you. There's like a poison.
And the Canaanite fish worship them.
Right. And then carp, because they're bottom feeders. So if there's a lake that has invasive species of carp, well, you take the carp and you kill the carp. You don't catch and release the carp. But these people would catch small carp, small bullheads, and then they'd throw them into the part of the reserve. It's like, I don't have the word for it in my mind right now. Maybe chat can help me. The water from the lake goes down into a channel. There's not a generator there. And then it goes into a river and it flows out. It's like overflow for a lake because there's a bridge that goes over it. But it's a one-way door. So fish could swim over it, but then they can't swim backwards because it would go down into a hole. They get trapped in there. But the fish that are trapped in there would get fed, and they'd grow larger and larger and larger. So if you're really hungry, you'd go to this and just like spearfish or like shoot your gun at the thing, and the fish would float up, shooting fish in a barrel, and you could
Just
take
throw
one of these
dynamite in
large.
there.
Correct. All these fish would grow very large. Nobody else wanted them. They taste terrible. They taste like mud. But I went back there and there was no fish in there. So I'm asking the good guys, is it a good guy move to now, buy a goldfish from a pet store and throw it in the lake into the reservoir? Should I start feeding this and make this my own public-private fishery?
I mean, not just one, buy a few of them. Don't put one lonely goldfish in there.
Well, I will tell you, I got one goldfish from the fair, and literally, I'm not kidding when I say this, 2 ponds later, like the amount of fish that ended up, I got one goldfish from the fair, put it in a tank, ended up, it just got bigger, 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 eventually 50-gallon tank, ended up with a more goldfish. They ended up having fish babies. All of a sudden, I just had goldfish, goldfish, goldfish. That I also had a buddy that he had his own big piece of property, and in his hydroponic farm in his greenhouse, he used tilapia as the fish. And in the same way, the tilapia would get big, big, big. And eventually they were so big, he had a lake on his property. So he started throwing the tilapia in the lake. So then eventually he was stocking his own lake, thinking, what could go wrong? And then all of a sudden he had gator in his lake. And then you just have gator in your lake because the state of Florida is like, well, sir, what are we going to do with the gator? Bring it to somebody else's lake? You have a gator in your lake. So it's just like you can kill the gator and then you could have boots and do all that. And, that's like steps up. But it's like you're stocking lakes eventually with certain fish, they breed. They're just like, and so goldfish, I know it's illegal to
Goldfish are
fish with
like
them.
the rats of the fish pet world.
But I think it's illegal to fish with goldfish.
It's illegal to fish with
I
because
think-
they don't want other good fish eating your crappy goldfish. They came from like the carnival.
Illegal to
Probably.
fish with.
It's like a GMO fish.
Each state in the US of A decides what their fishing regulations are. But like I said earlier, people don't read those regulations.
Right. You spend $15 at Walmart and you got your license to go fishing. But really the only reason you have that is so when you get pulled over, the cop has one less thing to arrest you for.
It's you're not allowed to fish with goldfish and carp. So like you were saying like earlier, like
But it
a
doesn't
certain
say why. Like
I know,
why
let's
aren't we
ask.
allowed to?
This is a learnable moment.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
So don't tell
Let
me
me ask ChatGPT
why
why.
I
Yeah,
can't.
ask
why
ChatGPT
can't
right
we-
now.
why can't
Does
we use
your
goldfish
chat have a
and bait?
voice? Will it talk to us back in the microphone?
Yeah,
Okay,
hold on.
tell it. Set that up. And because I was just gonna say one of the things that's going on X is you can put Grok in your room. And so when somebody's like, oh, this happened in this thing, and you're just like, you could be like, Grok, did this happen in this thing? And it'll, whatever kind of Grok personality you want to be, the personality will be in the room. But it's kind of funny for even like, for when you're on digs, it's fun because when you have a group of people, some of the stuff you could just ask quick, like Layla's about to do. But also when you're in debates, it's super fun. And you can have one of the things I noticed that Diligent did on X today. I think everyone should kind of follow him. He does good spaces. But he said, Grok, take out all expert opinion. And I thought, oh, and it gave us so much better results. Because think of if you're just called expert opinion, your thing moves to the top of all of our thing, even though we might have done all the research on the thing.
Yeah.
How far are we from a presidential debate when ChatGPT is there to just real time call people out? And now you don't have to have like the political bias perception of whoever's network is operating it. What if it's just, Trump versus Hunter Biden versus ChatGPT? And that's the next debate.
I think it works if there's 3 separate computers that are all there, that are all have to kind of chat with each other, like, because they all can't have the same thing. So it's almost like there has to be a separate software that then is like the moderator of the debate with all of them behind them.
Yeah, but
Because
it could all be in one machine.
Yeah,
Unless it's just for
eventually.
us to understand. Yeah.
Solution oriented. I like this idea. Let's build our own better technocracy. Let's build a technocracy so much better than what they're failing to build right now.
Okay, Layla, what is it?
Hey, so why can't I use a goldfish or carp to go fishing? What's the real reason?
Using a goldfish or carp as bait is generally not recommended and often illegal in many places. The main reason is that goldfish and carp are invasive species. If they escape or are released into local waterways, they can outcompete native fish for resources, spread diseases, and disrupt the ecosystem. Additionally, using them as bait can introduce parasites or diseases into the water. This can have harmful effects on native fish populations and overall aquatic.
Blah 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 blah
I
blah.
mean,
Okay,
she's
so
describing eugenics, right?
A little bit. It's kind of funny too, though. It's like, oh, let's not have any female trees in the city. No, you can't throw these things that breed easy and would feed a bunch of people anywhere. Like, we can't have anyone just be able to go grab this thing, and in 2 months, it's like stock lake, stock lake, stock lake.
This is
Yeah.
actually
That would be very Jesus of you if you just gave people a bunch of fish.
this could be an interesting libertarian concept, or like voluntarious. Like, who are you to stop me from just spreading iguanas and pythons and goldfish into all of the natural environments, bringing like cane toads and just putting them into places where they'll absolutely thrive, right? Isn't that not part of free enterprise? Couldn't you just be like, I'm starting a business, I'm starting a cane toad business?
Well, in the long haul of things, everything eventually is going to be extinct. So aren't you just saving a species ahead of time without having to use? Look at this ridiculous thing. But honestly, it's like everything's invasive. Some things have good climates. Oh, wait. Are you out of here, Layla Ann?
yeah, I have to be up at 6 a.m. for work.
Layla has
Memorial Day
ahead
weekend.
of
You
her.
still got 3.5 hours.
Yeah. No, technically 4.
Do you have any one last weird thing to talk about or say or question or anything before you leave?
I have a request.
Yeah.
Layla, before you leave, I need to see your acting as if you just walked through a spider web. It hits your face.
Oh my god. There you go. I got it.
And clip it.
Did I do
And
good?
Scene.
That was good, right?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Do you have
Ooh, I
anything
hate that
else
feeling.
going on?
No, just work. I'm going to be working my ass off next week. I'm actually doing also a DIY project on my room. I'm putting in new floors. I took out the carpet and all the stuff that was attached to
Fun.
that. So I'm doing that. And yeah, dentist appointment, good things coming, starting to feel better little by little, just watching what I eat. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
And that's
good.
it. I'm healthy. That's it.
And where can everyone follow you?
On God Pill Angel. God_pill_angel on Instagram. And then 47. I can't spell it.
Follow one of us and we
Just
follow. Layla.
exactly. You'll find me eventually. I love you guys.
All
Thanks
right. Love
for-
you, Layla. See you
All
next
right.
week.
Bye.
Everyone send Layla, if you have any extra energy this week, send it to her so she can
Yes,
get
'cause I
through,
fucking
so she
need
can
it.
time travel through her 12-hour days.
Yeah, send me Adderall. Bye. Love you.
And by energy, I mean Adderall.
Adderall, bye. I love you. Bye.
That is so funny. Like, make it all like hey, and woo woo, and send her any extra energy and love that you guys have. And she's like, by love, she means Addie. Little Addie. It's awesome.
I want to actually request people stop sending me drugs in the mail.
You have to request right now. You have too many.
Just
I'll put it back
yeah.
like this.
And you got to like plan to be there. It's a whole thing.
You have to put it's too much. There's too much nerve. I just am like, whatever you send me in the mail, I don't want to know about it. I feel like that package doesn't need my energy being paranoid about it in between.
There was a concept of having like a drop spot that only certain parties would be privy to.
Are we talking about this is going to wrap around the geocaching again?
Absolutely. So, do you remember a period of time when people had like USB sticks and they'd like drop the USB sticks off at various places and people would just like plug into it? You get a couple-
Horrible idea, yeah.
Did you ever try that?
No, that's hard. It's almost like a glory hole in a way, because
Well,
the opposite existed too, where there would just be like a little USB port in like a wall somewhere,
yes.
and it was like plug something into me.
Well, right, and you'd have to have a different device that wouldn't infect anything else. You'd have to have the skills to be able to go to the site with your laptop, to plug in the drive, copy the files over, and then copy your files back. But this is like, analog BitTorrent where you transfer files in a really slow way, and then be around different cities, and maybe bars would have them, hacker bars or hangouts or things. But as you're saying, people spoiled it by trying to. Well, maybe it was a good thing if they're spreading viruses in that way, like computer viruses, Stuxnet, or other worms. If there's a group of people that wanted to eradicate those worms, sell you the antivirus, but the virus had to spread. So if there was active antiviruses preventing it from spreading over the internet networks, if there were offline USB drives that had copies of the virus that you could go and collect and then put it on your machine and then put your machine online and then spread it that way.
I would never do it. I automatically think they're going to put the worst thing on there ever, or show me a murder or something horrible to a person, and I don't want anything to do with it. Like, I never been one of those people ever in life where it's like, click me. Okay. Ever. So I'm not sticking my USB anywhere that I don't know exactly what's happening.
Don't download any files unless you're absolutely trusting of the party. Sure, I think that's the way 4chan was taken down earlier. It's back up. There was a PDF upload option on one of the boards, and someone downloaded a PDF that had an exploit in the PDF, and then the servers processed the PDF exploit and then gave them essentially God mode to the servers, and they had a backdoor privately for a number of months before they decided to publicly act on it and take the boards down by revealing the email addresses of all of the janitors on the board. So the administrative janitors who had the ability to remove posts, and they were removing too many pictures, text posts, whatever, and people didn't like that. So to rise up against the janitors, there's other words they call them. I'll let you guys discover that lingo on your own journey. But this sort of internet beef thing got real for a moment, and they took the website down. Now it's back up, but there was a rival image board that had a different culture on it that claimed responsibility for taking down 4chan in the first place. You guys keeping up with this story?
Yeah. Thomas?
I think I just lost the thread. I understand, and I've kept up with the story. I feel like I was here at somewhat of the inception, because in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was all about the something awful boards, and then those sort of became too mainstream, and then it fizzled into the 4chans and the 8chans and all the other chans, right? But at that part, I think I was just living in the real world more so, and then not as much chronically online. But those, we're describing chronically online communities, which are the exact kind that you can't trust with the geocaching style honor system. It's so weird that the geocachers are anonymous in an altruistic way, which I can't think of other communities that are the same. Maybe it's like a Christian ideal, right? To just be truly altruistic for the sake of it, because you like this thing and you want other people to like that thing too.
Like a golden rule thing: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I want to continue the joy of the geocache treasure hunt, so I want to improve the experience for other people and not lessen or set booby traps or remove the cache or that sort of thing.
And 4chan's like that, except instead of the joy of geocaching, everyone's just calling each other like a pedophile or like a Nazi or a blue-haired woke.
That goes back to sharing images of cheese pizza through USB drives and things, and then saying such and such so-and-so person computer network, they are hosting illegal images. That's kind of the same way where everyone's called a PDF file online. That's an accusation. Where's the evidence? Now, a person who's accused of that has to be on the defensive. Anyone can be accused of that. Now they're on the defensive. But to prove that you're not, well, that's going to be a little bit more invasive to your privacy to prove, to ensure that you're not. It's kind of a dangerous game. And that connects to Shia LaBeouf, going and having a fan base on image boards that either loved him or hated him. Most people just thought he was a monkey to be played with. So when he was seeking attention, live streaming himself, and there were people in the area who had GPS on their phones and could locate where he was, once they found out, we're within 500 feet of them, they'd share within 500 feet of where Shia LaBeouf was, get all the people together, and then they would surround him and show up. And then because he was live streaming it, he'd have a flash mob surrounding him in a relocation.
And then they would order him cheese pizza.
Do you think in a geocache way, like old school, you know how people would take like rods, like water rods, they'll have like, and what way do you think they did this back when, besides just landmarkers, like carvings? There would have to be something that would be similar. Maybe that's what a lot of the carvings is in places, because you'd think, oh, let's do it by a tree, but something could happen to a tree. Unless it was a specific shape, like where you're walking through the woods and you're like, whoa, somebody bent this tree in a 90-degree angle on purpose. Like those kind of things. That's what a lot of people think in Florida. There's a lot of markers in places that are bent trees as well.
As a tree is growing and it's still flexible, they can put something on to bend the tree. I was in a situation at a tree farm where trees would just naturally start bending, and we'd have this back brace for the tree that would be like a bow, and it would, you'd have something on the top, you'd have something on the bottom, and in the middle you'd push pressure into it, and then it would make it grow straight. So a tree that was going crooked, because it's still fibrous, the cement hadn't dried yet, you could correct the growth to make it straight. In the same way as Chaney's saying, a tree that is still young and growing could have a brace put on it to make it have a bend or an S or a bow or something.
They make those chairs. There's some places that make chairs out of the trees where they just keep planting them and actually slowly mold them and weave them in between. So you've got like this natural. I think that's the true show of dominance against nature. If you could just turn everything into chairs that you sit on.
Make it into a throne, and then it becomes your personal toilet. That's how you dominate nature. Humans stay on top.
This is funny that Slick said, Geocache Patel combing the desert for Comey's beach, message 8647. But in my head, I heard, we ain't found shit.
But Geocache Patel.
10-4, good buddy. I was trying to learn the CB radio police codes of like 10-4, good buddy, message received, trucker. Like truckers have their codes, police officers, law enforcement have their codes. In that way, there was other codes that hobos and bums and transients would have in cities. They would use chalk on sidewalks to mark certain places, like public restroom that way, free Wi-Fi here, don't loiter here. There's a beat cop on the street, so that they could warn their fellow travelers. And connecting that to modern times and cell phones, people are using Waze app, like the GPS navigation, to say, there's a rainstorm here. Nope, this is hail. There's ice on the road. I mean, avoid the ice on the road if you're
like in Miami. Yeah,
that sort of thing. Snow in Miami in May. Yes, there's ice on the road, and other drivers would confirm it. So other drivers would confirm that indeed the weather conditions were not great for traveling on this path. Don't take this path. The roads are ice. There's ice on the road. Can I say it enough times for people to?
It is interesting because you can still technically get pulled over for doing the headlight flash thing where you're letting the oncoming traffic know, hey, there's a cop with like a speed gun that's hiding over here, because that is technically seen as like disrupting the police activity. I forgot what the exact term was. But that is still illegal, but Waze does it way more efficiently and way better because it's sort of crowdsourced, where you, like you mentioned, a bunch of people can be like, yeah, no, there is a cop hiding out right there, and it's the equivalent of flashing your headlights, but they have no way of preventing this from happening. And I think there are probably even more specialized apps that you could probably get that are just like not just ice is on the road, but anything you could think of.
Yeah, I even like how it really is that way now if you use any kind of the mapping things to get from here to there, where there'll be like, there's a pig up ahead on the left. And I'm like, thanks, mapping service. You'll drive a little further and you're like, holy shit, the fuzz just sitting there. Like somebody else was like,
Piggly
marked
store
it.
just
Marked
showed
it.
up on the map.
What did?
A Piggly Wiggly store just popped up on the map.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I like that kind of stuff. I like being able to add stuff to my routes, but I was a person sometimes on road trips that I would tell AAA where I was going so I could get a map ahead of time. Like, I'm all about a map. I know how to read a map. I feel like a lot of people don't know how to read a map, so even, like, if the power grid ever went down, just knowing how to read a map you'd out-survive at least 5 other people. I always think you have to out-survive 20 other people.
Or having the map is actually usually a pretty good step towards that. Because I remember going to AAA and sitting down, and not just a map, but they'd give you like a big ass pamphlet that like page by page would show you like every 20-mile stretch of the entire thing that you had to go on. But man, you'd run into, like, if I was doing a cross country trip, you run into one spot where they're doing construction and all your maps are just like a plan in God's face, right? Like they mean absolutely nothing at that point.
Unless you have one of those bomb atlases where you can turn to any state and any map and look at it. But I've actually been on road trips even where we've had CBs in the car and been able to be like, listen to truckers, and they'll be like, oh, there's blah, blah, blah going on up ahead. We're going to have to get off at this exit and take some back roads for a little while. And then we'd be like, hey, we're in this vehicle. Can we follow you? Sure thing. They could lead us anywhere, but usually it's a line of trucks. And
Have I talked to you guys since Hurricane Helene?
I don't know.
It feels like it's been a little while. So last end of September, October, traveling to South Carolina for a meetup event. Didn't know that rain would turn into hurricane rain. In a caravan, I'm riding with someone, and we're trying to meet up other cars. We had about 3 cars in our caravan, all trying to reach the same destination. Driving all night, it's raining, and we realized that the roads are closing because they're flooded, and we're in like Asheville area, and we're trying to get to our destination in South Carolina, but the direct route was closed. Those roads were flooded. So we're trying to navigate through that. And every time we'd stop at gas stations and other places, we talked to all the other drivers and try to figure out, well, where are they trying to go? People were trying to go north, people trying to go south, east or west, where they're trying to go. And as we were doing this, we eventually found other people that were going to the same event we were going to. So our caravan started with 2 cars, it grew to 3 cars. And by the time we were trapped on the I-40, because the road behind us closed and the road in front of us closed, we had 5 cars in our caravan. So we're driving on the I-40, we're going east. We're thinking it's a sunny day, the sun is shining, it's about noon on a Friday, we're going to get to this party, we're going to just drive straight through it. We're driving, it's getting quieter and quieter and quieter. Finally, I look up because the car I was a passenger in stopped. I looked up, all the traffic had stopped. I looked left and I saw the the other lane, no traffic at all. This is the I-40. This is through the mountains. This is the only way to get there. This is the interstate. This is the only road you can take. We're stopped on it. It's like a scene in an apocalyptic movie where everyone is out of their car, looking at their phone, looking at the sky, walking around like a zombie, not knowing what to do next, because cars from behind us were packing in and there was no room for anyone to turn around. Semi trucks, 18-wheelers were on both lanes, so there was no way we could turn around. The tunnel in front of us had flooded. The roadway behind us was eroding under the river, so there was no road on our lane to turn back around. We didn't have GPS because
So it wasn't like you could cut across the median because it's all flooded.
You got the solution. The median to the other lane was removable, but it took people from outside of that zip code area. The locals, they were like, well, I guess we'll wait. People from outside,
they were like, hell,
we got to get to a party. Billingtano, shout out Billingtano, gets up and he starts looking at the divider. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, there's like a lever here. We can start turning this. It's meant for human hands. There's leaves. I move the leaves and there's directions to remove the barrier so we can get to the other lane. I took a picture of the directions stating these are human directions for removing the barrier in case of emergencies like this. I started showing everyone in the crowd, like, look, picture, directions, barrier, we can remove them. Light bulbs went off. All the men went and they started cranking the thing up so it rises up the riser. There's wheels on it. And then the thing just disconnects and you push them out of the way and traffic started taking the U-turn and we went out the way we came in on the other lane that was higher up on the mountain and we could get out to the rest stop. We couldn't get through, but we could get out. I have that video on my YouTube channel showing us moving the barrier, taking the U-turn and getting out of there. I don't know if they've repaired the I-40 yet. But in terms of GPS, I didn't have the exact location of where it was. So later on when I got home, I was trying to see the map to see what exact spot. And you know how your phone can record GPS to videos and pictures that you take? I was trying to use that GPS data to find the exact spot of where the barrier was removed. So if we ever traveled back to South Carolina, we could, go back to the exact spot and mark it. And there was a place on the side of the road. You probably aren't supposed to, park there, but I imagine you probably could if you needed to, because there's a grassy area. And we were walking and looking at the river as the river rapids are just flooding, erosion carving away at the road. And the soil underneath from the river was underneath carved away. So all that was the pavement of the road. And because there was no support of earth underneath it, the pavement just started bowing, bending, bowing, and then it just started going into the river.
Huh. Yeah. In my Florida brain, I love that there's still cowboys because I think there's all these, and I think everybody has that spirit in them somewhere. And I always think of, and a shout out to my homie Jeff, who I worked with once, and I was very busy at work and in the middle of doing a million things. And he just grabbed me by the shoulders and he said, just remember, if you're ever in line for the ovens, you can scream no and they'll all follow you. And that's what I feel like about so many situations on the planet. Like, sometimes we're just like, oh, let's just keep packing in. What are we going to do? I guess we'll just sit here and all freeze to death because there's a barrier there. It's like there's so many less rules than people think. And it's just like we abide by. But I think that in so much of society where it's just like, I guess we could just move this barrier, even that you had to show people, look, everyone, it's made for human hands.
Yes. Designed for us to remove, push out of the way, and use. The title of the video is Hurricane Helene Traps Traffic on I-40. Citizens remove barrier to escape. Put that into
very utilitarian title there. I just imagine my typical luck, or there had to be another version of that happening elsewhere where you're showing everyone this phone, like, look, we're allowed to do this, here's how to do it. there's probably the one guy that's like, no, we're not, don't touch that, that's illegal, this is not, for you to be messing with. Usually those are the kind of guys that I find that are like adjacent to my caravan.
That guy was the guy who had an, in quotes, a pregnant wife with maybe a food belly, who did not wait for us to remove the barrier, but insisted we grab her, any part of her body, to lift her up and over the barrier so she could get on the other side of traffic. And we're like, if you could just give us 30 more seconds, you could walk right through it. But this one guy was so concerned about his, in quotes, pregnant girlfriend. That was the guy who was like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm the first one. I'm the most important person with my pregnant girlfriend. I'm the hero to save my pregnant girlfriend. And I'm like, guy,
It's not even yours, guy.
we're on a queue. We're going to go first car to make it, because then we're all going to clear out of here. We're going to be fine. Just give us another 60 seconds and you won't have to have us touching your wife.
Okay, let's see.
The video.
Pretty cool.
All that concrete.
Pretty cool. I could probably, if I walked over the border, the barrier, and I could show you the river, but I don't want to cross over where all the flood water is. So dark, silty, covered muddy water. So the road's out.
Yeah, because I guess the storm's happening so far away, but all the water rushing down the mountain is still washing everything out below it.
Yep.
I didn't even think about how far off it affected things that it wasn't even raining in.
This is the flood water that took our road out. There's no road. No road.
So this is when I discovered the gate opening instructions are printed
Bingo. Gate.
and affixed
gate on
to
their
the
bingo
top
card?
of the barricade gate made of steel. In 6 simple steps, the gate opens. I took a photo of this and showed the other men standing around on the I-40. Shout out to Billingtano, who opened the first gate, showing how it's done, and gate 2 and 3 are quickly removed, as you'll see in this video. You can skip ahead to the point where the videos and the gates open up.
I was about to, and then it was so quick that I was just like, oh, there it is.
We opened that gate. There they are.
Sarah G took this video.
Cleared it out.
Fuck, man.
So we had like 3 different cameras taking the videos and then assembled them afterwards. We weren't documenting this, and so we realized, oh, this should probably be preserved and uploaded.
Is that the guy with the pregnant girlfriend?
Yes.
With the white BMW? It's so funny. It was like so perfect. Like you couldn't have drawn it better. Who's going second? I don't know. The red Mustang? Perfect! Just kidding. If that's you, that was in the red Mustang, Alan. I think this is for some reason too. Other people are watching this video right now and they're like, oh, that's how those come apart. And then also everyone's going to be like, need it one day, that those barriers can come apart.
I received many emergency alerts to my phone on September 27th, 2024, off the I-40.
If all the Teslas blocking the cars like that Obama movie, you can always move the barriers like that.
I searched on YouTube to find other
That's the tunnel
very
that we were trying to
specific
get through.
videos. Now I notice here, this is the tunnel.
Someone
This
had
is
gone
where
through with a
the
drone after.
I-40 had stopped because you can see that entire shoulder is taken out and the lane was soon to go. Now
Crazy.
we're going back up to where our vehicles had stopped due to the traffic. So I used GPS coordinates to try to find that exact spot on the map to determine the tunnel, because that whole place is like, doesn't have Wi-Fi, doesn't have the 5G towers. It's a dead zone through that entire mountain pass area. But the GPS kind of worked.
If you get a still of the tunnels and drop them in one of like the Google photo searches, just a still shot, I bet you it'll pull up something.
I
'Cause
didn't see the tunnel because the cars of traffic ahead of us couldn't get through the tunnel. So I pieced together what I had not seen while I was
oh, that was you pieced all that together later from the
after.
geo. Okay.
Yes, after I could find all the videos online. So I had to go on YouTube to search with geo-specific tags and locations and what's the name of the tunnel, what's the name of the rest stop, and then try and find on Google Maps. So I was piecing this all together. I was blind. I'd never been to this territory at all. I didn't know where I was, but piecing it together later was sort of my way to figure out where I was, like those guys on the bus who were trafficked and didn't know where they were. I was just a passenger. I was just a pregnant passenger, barefoot, needing to get to a Chick-fil-A
You were like,
before it
"Hey,
closed on
guys,
Sunday.
look, there's instructions on how to get this thing." You were like,
How
"I'm
would
just
Waymos react to this kind of situation where you got people that are manually moving these barrier? Like, if that traffic at one section had just been clogged up by Waymos, that screws it up for everybody, right?
I've seen videos where robot drivers of these vehicles, these autonomous vehicles, all meet in some place in San Francisco, and there's like 6 of them in a neighborhood, and they just stop. They just go there and they stop. And then the neighbors were like taking videos of this, trying to figure out why are there 6 Waymo vehicles just parked in the street. We can't get through the traffic here.
And pretty soon, it's crazy to think that those will be nanobots inside of our like ventricles, right?
I'm gonna find that fucking scene from Leave the World Behind, that Obama movie, because I feel like if this were to happen in real life, this trick from Alan Marcus, this life hack, this Pinteresting thing could actually be the thing that gets you out of what Thomas is talking about if there was all of these cars. But I want to say ahead of time, the second I play it, it will just get me like a ding on YouTube. But I just want the people to know that watch this in the future. If there is an empty spot during right here, it is that movie they've unclipped from our show. That's it. And so that's what's going to happen because I'm still going to watch it. So if you want to be a rebel, go to X or Rumble where they just don't give a shit as much if we watch this stuff.
They don't have the resources.
So it's 2:26:39 on the timeline.
Anyway.
Grand
So
Theft Auto
intense.
6 graphics are sick.
I was gonna say she doesn't play enough GTA 6. That wasn't even hard.
I thought that was footage from Grand Theft Auto 6, and one of the missions is escaping from the Waymo. That could be a whole like DLC where the whole game is, you know, you're trying to escape and then they find your locations and the Waymo starts sicking you, so you gotta destroy the Waymos to get to your path. Maybe a race, maybe a timed mission. I hate timed missions though, but they make you urgent. The sense of urgency to get the thing done is motivation.
Oh, I'm such a nerd. I don't like things jumping out at me that I have to shoot. Like, I'd rather not even have to use a weapon. I like video games that I'm like, I don't like that. But like Fallout's my favorite video game, but I'm like, I just like building my character that eventually everybody in the wasteland's like, "Sup, queen?" And I'm like, "Hey, you need anything done?" And they're like, "Go over there to those zombies." And I'm like, all right, I'll go kill some zombies, but I hate those parts of the mission.
See, if we're talking Fallout, you can usually kill those people that try and give you those missions, and then you don't have. It's like blocking them on Blue Sky.
I know, but sometimes then you still have to go on the mission anyway. Now I have to do extra killing. Whereas if I'm like, and then I'm walking across the waste, and just because I made friends with Thomas, now Alan Marcus is all his gang shooting at me, and I'm just walking with my dog across the wasteland, and now here's a scorpion. Sometimes I just like doing little missions here and there. You know what, friend? Keep your money, because I get really good at hacking, and then I'll just I can break into the codes easier. Like I figure out other things that I can do that I don't necessarily have to be good with a gun. I'm fast, so I can outrun the scorpions. But I don't like Fallout 3 had a lot of underground tunnel shit in it, and that is a little creepy. I know that's what people like about video games. I just like the
jumps.
I like the geocaching of Fallout. Like that's what I'm up to.
The exploration is fun. I like that. Yeah, the scary games, the jump scares. There's a game called Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and the whole purpose of this game is hiding from the monster. There's a monster, it's chasing you. You have to hide from it, but you can't look at it. If you look at it, it sees you. It's this sort of gaze thing. If you look at it, like you put your mouse pointer reticle over it, you see it, it sees you, you're dead, game over. So you have to always not look at the monster to escape the monster, and you don't have a weapon to kill the monster. So you're constantly, and the game's completely in the dark, and your oil is limited. So you have a little lantern that burns oil quickly. So there's whole parts where now you're in the dark because you used all your oil. So you have to conserve your oil. You can't kill the monster. It's a lot of fun.
That's like fighting Medusa with a mirror. That's what I think, where it's like you can't look at her directly, but you can look at her in a reflection, and that so you have to. I can't. It's too scary. Yeah, no, I'm not really great at that. And I'll get like a really great weapon that shoots great long distance with a dreamy scope. So if I do ever have to take anything out, they never even know it's me, and I can take out the head of the thing and still walk in, and they're like, "Sup, queen? Hey, boo, what just happened here? What's going on? Why are you guys so panicked?" Anyways.
Timestamps coming through chat. 1 hour 47 minutes. We'll have to review that part of the stream. See what happened then.
What?
I love all the timestamps. The people.
Was there a nip slip?
You know, I tried to keep the clothes on, but I get a little warm sometimes.
When it finally catches up, and you're like, "Oh."
Are booby streamers still a thing? Are people still watching large-breasted women pretend to play video games? Or they'll have video game footage, maybe Minecraft, maybe Call of Duty, playing behind them as they're talking to their chatters.
See, but I think AI is going to eat all their lunch pretty soon.
It already has, I'm imagining.
There was one recent, like this week, I think, came out. Google has one called VO3, and one of the videos that I saw was someone took real Minecraft footage, but in the foreground, Google AI generated the person and the things that they said and their voice and all of it. And I mean, if all you care about is just some brain rot watching someone have a reaction video to Minecraft, it could just churn them out all day long. And there's really nothing, like you mentioned, they're not even really playing the game anyway. So people aren't watching it for the game as much anyway. And these are the things that AI are the low-hanging fruit.
We are experiencing a lucid dream right now, so we need to do our reality checks to confirm that we are in fact real and talking to each other. What is our reality check confirmation that this is a real live stream? We are not AI. We are great guys. Call us good guys.
My reality check is I'll try and reach through a cup if I got one nearby, and I'll just think I can put my hand directly through this cup. And then if I can't, then I know that I'm in reality, maybe.
This is my reality check. Isn't this the funniest bit holder you've ever seen? This is how it's like I
Like a Pee Wee Herman playhouse.
Yeah, my wife's like, "What do you get in the mail?" Something, obviously a necessity.
Those aren't Allen wrenches, are they?
What?
Are those Allen wrenches?
Yeah, well, they're a whole bunch of bits that can go inside of, any kind of tool. Like, I have screwdrivers or little baby drills that'll hold these.
Yeah, they're
Um,
hex bits.
yeah, so it has all see?
So this will blow your mind.
This is so
No,
gay.
Gabe Newell of Steam, Half-Life 3 not confirmed. Gabe Newell, the guy behind the Steam platform that distributes video games. I saw him with a drill to his head in an image. He's working on a competition to Neuralink to do a brain chip.
That's what we need more of.
I just saw that image before the stream. Gabe Newell, drill to his head.
I have never even worn an Apple Watch yet. Like, I think there's so many stages I have before I even have to think about that one. And I want to think all like, "Oh, that's horrible," but then it's like, how many other things could it do besides connect you, nefariously? Like, if you couldn't hear, could it help make you hear?
Well, also I mean, I don't know if this is an our lifetime thing. I think it probably is, but there's gonna be a version of it where it's the same as putting on one of those patches, like a Datura patch or something, like when you get seasick. So now, because a lot of people, it's easy to say, I'm gonna reject the mark of the beast. So the mark of the beast literally means surgery, like brains, like someone
Yeah.
can open up your brain. If the mark of the beast is like, just put this sticker on your wrist and you turn into an Ubermensch, that one's gonna be a lot harder to resist. So
Yeah.
hey, just put this watch on, as opposed to, hey, just get this brain surgery.
Yeah, and like the nano of it in the like even look at the way you see all the people with those Ozempic shots and or like how the shots have come so far where they look like this, you just think and it's just like, look at you're done and done. You chuck that little thing. It's all like clean.
It's like a
You
vape
don't
pen. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have to get a whole bunch of like a syringe out and draw out something out of a little vial. Like, I don't know, even that part.
You can even Ozempic people without their consent real easily. You can just you don't need
That's a
legislation.
different kind of terrorism.
So in our geocaches, are we putting stashes of Adderall in
I
there?
don't know. He just ran up to me and poked me with something. You have no idea what it is for like a few weeks. You never know. You're like, gosh. And everyone, you're walking around and you have this traumatic experience of getting poked by a strange man at like a fucking like.
But meanwhile, everyone else is like,
Buc-ee's.
you look so good.
Everyone's like, you look amazing. I'm so sorry that happened to you, but you look great. It would just be like it is equivalent to somebody put drugs in candy. It's
I kinda like this
equivalent.
theme,
Like
this
somebody spending a whole bunch of money to just
and
make other people feel good.
terrorism.
It would be so funny. This is a
And they
great
sing a little
sketch.
song too. Oh, psh.
Ozempic. They don't know.
Never believe it's not so.
It's so stupid. See, I'm like, yeah, I know the robots and the machines can make everything, but I still think sketch comedy, like shit like this, I'm like, I would watch this late night. Where's the Ozempic short of some just terrorist running up to fat people? Some guy just came into the sauna and poked me in the thigh.
I think it could start maybe.
Somebody
in
pays
Japan, where
somebody, like a
they just do it
husband
to,
pays
like
somebody to do it to their
we
wife.
AI to drop the sketch, have the script for the sketch, and then have those animators create it, because NBC, Universal, MTV, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, they're not going to put out the Ozempic sketch. It's up to us to use AI to disrupt the content.
Correct.
It's so funny because I could see like either spouse and somebody just like the same way, like the scene starts and it's somebody sitting in the car with like a nefarious looking gentleman, and they're like, all right, it's going to be $3,000. And they're like, okay, make sure it doesn't hurt him. Ba, 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 ba. Like, I want it to just
I don't
happen
want to
fast.
see it coming.
I don't want them to see it coming, and you think they're setting up their spouse's murder, and they're going out and they're talking to another friend of theirs, the person they just told in the car. I don't know, man. They just want, I'm going to do this hit real quick. I'm going to walk up to this lady's husband, getting a quick $3,000 for it, ba, ba, ba. And then we find out it's like Ozempic.
I have popcorn ready for that movie.
I would watch it.
You guys still do Netflix?
No.
I've been sailing the seas for like 2 decades at least now.
I got 2 answers from 2 different contexts. Assimilated. Answer received. Got it. Thank you. 10-4, good buddy.
No. I'm
Group movie watching is not happening.
I would do it occasionally. I just couldn't do it every week.
There are so many movies to choose from. We all have our own private screens. We're not all watching the same movie at the same time in the same theater with the same people. It's all like not evenly distributed. It's like time delayed. And behind the scenes here, I'm going to break the 4th and 5th wall. I'm looking at the comments privately in our studio, and they have a time signature. So it goes 121, 120, and I'm like, is that when people are leaving a comment according to the timeline of the start of our stream tonight?
I believe so.
And sometimes those will appear out of order to us because someone's paused the video and is not watching it in real time live with the live stream that's caught up to real time on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and your live is grayed out, and you click live and you go ahead 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever, because people will start watching the stream from the beginning, but then they'll still be in the chat room commenting.
Oh, I didn't even ever think about that.
Because someone will coming in like 40 minutes late, and they'll start commenting about what we're talking about 40 minutes ago, but it shows up right now or whatever the delay, a 30-second delay.
It's reminding me of things I've said. And it's a fun trip. It's a good mind weave, putting everything back together. It's feeding our ideas back at us and reminding us of what we said previously. So then it influences our future conversation going forward. So we then comment on things we've already commented on. This is great technology. Great power comes great responsibility.
It's some kind of vortex. It's some kind of, yeah. I'm like, my brain always at this time, right about the 3 a.m. mark is when my brain starts to short circuit where I cannot pull the word anymore. I want to think of it.
I can't remember the name of it, but this week too, Donald Trump signed like a pretty massive anti-AI law. And the result of this is that a lot of the AI services that let you render like characters or celebrities or politicians all are stopping that pretty soon because it could potentially be felonious, which is interesting because Donald Trump also seems to be the biggest adopter of using AI to generate celebrities to post on his own channel. So it's kind of, we're in like a weird gray area right now in terms of like who can use this cool technology.
Trump posted an image of him dressed in the Pope's liturgical outfits. And now I think this is the deep fake revenge corn law stating
non-consensual deep fakes.
Right, but it's vague enough to where you can make the argument that this is for corn chips, but in reality, this can be used to apply to anything that is disfavorable to you.
But it could also mean, in a way, they can't Running Man you. Like, like they can't be like, look here's Thomas doing this crime and now we're going to all watch him die on TV. Like if you didn't do that crime, like in a way, it's kind of like
It's like an act of God where Mother Nature herself reclaimed the road. So the road wasn't closed because there was no road to close. Mother Nature just took the road away from us and said, I don't like this traffic. You're disturbing the wildlife here. The birds are not nesting like they used to. The trucks are just too loud, too much pollution. Nature reclaimed itself.
Yeah, we're done with this. You had fun. What you needed to get from there to there, you should have gotten it there.
It's a
Remember the good times.
a cannonball run.
Do you guys have anything fun going on this week? Are you hanging out any places? Are you doing anything exciting?
Memorial Day weekend on Monday. I
Yes.
do on that day.
Memorial Day.
Memorial.
Yeah.
I'm finally getting out all the rest of the Illuminati comics. I've got them all boxed up in the next room. They're all going out tomorrow. And then the digital ones are going out on Monday. And then
Lego sets.
Those are all been sent out. All the awesome Dolphin Illuminati Lego sets. Yeah.
Those are incredible.
And then I finally because I didn't want to introduce new products and stuff when there's people that have been waiting to get the thing that was like advertised and paid for back. So now that all that's out, I can drop like 3 or 4 of my new play sets. So I'm excited about that too.
I have to shout out to Kristen too, because I'm so bad. Like, one of the worst things ever, somebody sent me something to send to other people. I'm so bad at that. I have a better shot at seeing somebody in person, and I've seen Thomas like twice or 3 times in between, and I always forget these things. And one of the ones she made was a Lego, like she made Lego play sets of all the good guys. And one of the good guys that she made was Donut, and in Donut she put a dolphin in it. And I've had
I'd love
these
to
for
see that.
so long. It's time travel that even though you guys didn't jack this idea, you've never even seen these yet. I feel like somewhere she put these together back when. Thomas, she did one of you. She did one of like everybody's thing, and I never wanted to unbox them unless I was there so I could film it. So that way we'd have it. So she'd have it like everybody with their little Legos. But anyways, yeah.
You could do
There's
a unboxing video.
unboxing,
Assemble the set, put it back in the box, and then people can choose to play the video in reverse.
Or I can just flip it.
We have the technology.
Yeah. Anyways, but this is really what the whole thing was, because I had so many and I was going to see everybody at the same time. And then anyway, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. This is one of my shortcomings. I'm just horrible. I'm like, okay, I'll try my best to get it to them. I'm going to be bad at this.
Set your expectations.
I know. Like, I'm an even person that, like, if I travel to a place, I am a minimalist. You should see how much little. So I'm like, where am I going to put this thing? Even if I have a whole car, I could put it in the whole car. I'm just like, here's my book bag and everything I can fit in it. Anyways, a little weirdo. So I apologize to her ahead of time, but somewhere, and I could get it on this shelf up here, but I'll save it for the next show. You guys remind me. Our audience is good about it.
Timestamp it, reminder, set reminder, put reminders in the comments, nag us, use your AIs to nag us to keep us accountable to do the things we say we're going to do.
Do you guys have any shows going on this week?
Tuesday. I think Tuesday night is an event that a bunch of dogs get together and bark at each other.
And what's that? Tell my audience where they can find you.
The Liberating Dog Face Dudes, alanmarcus.com. There's a link to the podcast page. There's archives for Weaving Spiders episodes. There might be an episode you haven't heard of Weaving Spiders. Look for that. It's a treasure hunt. That's part of the fun. Computer Wizard Games. Play with me. You'll enjoy it.
It's like IngersollLockwood.com.
Yes. Tuesday nights are the live streams. But again, we don't expect everyone to attend every live stream and maintain their attention and focus for the entire duration of the live stream. That's why they play back at your own convenience. And as you're watching them back, you have things to think about. You can pause the video, ponder it, leave comments. My email address is on the website. Email me directly. That's fine. We don't have to leave public comments. I see a lot of public comments in this time. are from people who don't like the content. The people that enjoy the content don't leave a comment saying, I enjoyed this content. The people that have a bone to pick with you leave a comment in the content to say, really? Really? You said that?
That is kind of true afterward, because a lot of the cool people are in live chat and then there's not a comment afterward, but then haters will find it from something. But I don't know. I think everything's a numbers game. What are you doing this week, Thomas?
I got a new series I've been doing with Sean Chris from Kill the Mockingbirds podcast that we get together on Sundays and we just record like 3 or 4 of them, but I've been putting them out on Tuesdays afternoons. So every Tuesday for the foreseeable future at around 3:30 Eastern, we are reviewing a different documentary, and coming up starting next month is going to be all Alex Jones documentaries. So we review Police State 2000, Dark Secrets in Bohemian Grove, and then I think for good measure we also did the Truth versus Alex Jones, which was the HBO hit piece on him. And then the month after that, we're going to do a Michael Moore month and watch like Roger and Me and Bowling for Columbine and Fahrenheit 9/11 and all that.
Oh, this is such a good idea.
It's been a fun series, and the rule has been we're not allowed to make a review that's longer than the thing itself, which sometimes, so we try and limit it to like 20 or 30 minutes or something for each.
Oh my gosh, that is such a great fucking rule.
Thank you.
It's too off because it's too often we'll do a conspiracy cinema, or I'll do like an occult Disney, and the occult Disney episode will be 2 hours, and we're talking about a movie that was 54 minutes long. And sometimes it just feels weird after you do it too much. So yeah, we're actively trying to make these kind of bite size. And this month, and you can go and find it on YouTube now. I'm surprised they're all still up. But we did All for Floyd, which is a George Floyd documentary by a QAnon guy, I guess. The Trayvon Martin hoax, which was actually really phenomenal. And then Am I Racist by Matt Walsh from Daily Wire. So we watched all 3 of those and found out if we were racist or not.
Fun. Fun, but you already knew the answer.
Yeah.
Downloading that great content, putting it on USB drives, and then hiding them in geocaches.
You can check out Tinfoil and Tokens if you want, if you're into crypto at all. I hang out with a bunch of degens and they talk about the charts, and then sometimes we'll get into some conspiracy as well. You guys can check that out on Monday and Thursday night if you want to, on Dustin Stockton's X or Tinfoil and Tokens Rumble. And yeah, that's for people that actually are into crypto, because there's a lot of talk about cryptocurrency. And I'm not always on air, and I definitely don't chit chat there as much as here, but you might be into it. I learn a lot of stuff there every day, and it like kind of blows my mind in that 30,000, how you like look at an idea and then you take that 30,000 foot view. Sometimes hearing stuff they say and being able to watch charts and being able to absorb it, then you start putting in other things that they're up to with our stock market, and kind of are like, oh my gosh, you just explained, like like some things we know that are obvious of, like, insider trading, but then other things you're like, oh, this is what's happening over here on this end. Or you just explain the blockchain to me in a way that I like whatever it is. So it's for people that are into that kind of stuff. And sometimes software.
It was fun. I was wondering, is this the blockchain token part of it, or are we on the token? Is this about JRR and the Lord of the Rings?
That's it. We just go over and over again like hobbits.
Is there a token? There has to be.
I don't know. If there's not, it's brilliant. The token. I don't know.
A non-fungible token.
Uh-oh. I bet you by the time we get off, there'll be one if you look on pumpfun.com. Layla's making one right now. All right. Well, unless you guys have anything else to plug, I will just send our love to the audience tonight and tell you guys thank you so much for watching and hanging out and wherever you're finding us, and follow everyone on the stage and hit the bell or the thumbs up or like and subscribe on your way out so you know if we're ever going live again. And if you comment in the chat. And if you're in a chat, even if nobody else is in it, it doesn't mean we're not paying attention to it, because I do realize I'm like, oh, I think Rumble and X show up on here. We just don't have any people live chatting in there. The comments usually happen afterward, like Alan Marcus was saying. So anyway, thank you guys so much. We love you. Have the greatest weekend. And yeah, I would say happy Memorial Day, but I guess that's for dead soldiers. So remembrance to those who have fallen before.